the other guys,
right.
the other guys, the supporting cast. If you put stars in a movie and the stars put out a crappy performance, nobody cares about the spare parts players in the movie.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about their performance.
I don't know if that carries to approach the same way, though, because you think about if Steph Curry's shooting from half court, that doesn't mean every player on the Warriors is shooting from half court.
Yeah, so
you do have to know your role a little bit more.
I want to talk about that a little bit because you saw my tweet yesterday and you responded it too. Look, there are times where you do just got to tip your cap to the opposing pitcher.
He was fantastic.
I will be honest with you guys. I did not think the approach was horrible when if you're down 0-1 because he's throwing first pitch strike every single time, what are you going to do? Take the second strike and now you're down 0-2? Minaya attacked the zone.
You have a guy who walks two batters, the top guys in your lineup.
Yeah, and then what are you doing? Telling Bryce Harper not to swing?
And it was a horrible pitch. He only swung at one good
pitch. He was trying to do
pitch.
too much.
And then that's the thing is, and then he's the one behind the microphone saying about our approach and what we need to do, and we need to stop chasing. You just had two veteran guys in front of you show you what needs to be done.
You're right.
Make him throw strikes. He wasn't going to throw enough strikes.
But I'm not going to tell Bryce Harper to put his bat on the shoulder.
That's different. It's a cookie. Get after it.
Right.
He's throwing it. Don't be swinging at stuff. He swung at two pitches out of the zone.
And then Castellanos, I know the at bat wasn't great, but he then tattooed like that liner, the double play. It just sucks.
It sucks.
It went right to the second baseman. It's not like Castellanos had a bad swing on a ball. He hit a screaming line drive that Schwarber couldn't even get back on.
2 walks, 2 guys that went up, 2 guys that were hacking earlier.
Yes.
Went up and said, we're working walks. We're working walks.
You're right.
We're going to make him throw strikes. He couldn't do it, and he walks us both. And then 6 straight swings.
Yeah. Which is bad. But I will say
6 straight swings on 2 balls that were in the strike zone.
But I will say the rest of the game, Minaya was attacking the zone. So, like.
Well, but Schwarber and Turner said, okay, we're turning the page here. We're going to make them throw strikes.
Yeah, but they're not doing that so that Bryce Harper can also walk.
Yeah.
They're doing that so they can be on base for Bryce Harper. Like,
by the way, sometimes there's just bad at bats for a pitcher.
Right.
Like, he was missing the zone at that. The whole game, he was in the zone. The whole game. That's why he was spectacular.
And that inning, he wasn't. And they worked it, and they worked it, and got on, and that had to be the huddle up. All right, guys, let's get up there.
Maybe.
And it works. Schwarber works it from an 0-2.
Yeah, he did.
Because he made him throw strikes.
Well, because Minaya was also trying to pitch around. I mean, he didn't want to give him a give-up pitch.
No, it's open. It's a first guy. He's not pitching around the first guy of the inning. He doesn't want to give him a bomb,
right?
But he doesn't want to. He's not pitching around him.
I'm just saying, I don't think that the team-wide approach was like the worst thing yesterday. Sometimes you got to tip your cap to the pitcher. He was good yesterday.
He was,
and that's what pisses me off because we go through the numbers yesterday.
Be good.
Exactly, we go through the numbers yesterday.
I like him as a pitcher.
Okay, you can. He's 0-3 career with a +10 ERA in the postseason. Kick rock, Sean Minaya. Why is it us? Because you couldn't have done this in Milwaukee.
Exactly.
It hasn't been since the All-Star break, though. It has not.
Oh, he's been good. They changed the way he pitched. They talked about it a million times yesterday. Trust me,
and that's one of those things where you go, the book tells you one thing, history tells you one thing, but the guy made adjustments to be better. I do tip the cap to Minaya yesterday. I thought he was
good,
absolutely outstanding.
And the bats were off. And that's what sucks is very reminiscent of last year, and it's painful when you're watching a game and you feel like they don't have a shot. And I get it. A lot of people felt that way game 2, and then it took a Bryce Harper home run and a Castellanos home run, and that changed everything. But there is a pain to sitting there and just watching your team, and you're like, man, they don't have it. Nola, who I know didn't pitch horribly yesterday, that dude was giving up rockets. And a lot of times they stayed in the yard. Good for him.
Sure.
But, from the beginning, you're like Connor, again, we were there together.
Hit.
Oh, yeah.
The first batter of the game hits a shot, and you said it. Thank God that they have a deep ballpark.
And Minaya did too, though. Schwarber almost hit a home run on the first pitch.
And then one guy settled in, and the other guy was okay.
The one thing, though, is you just brought that up, and you brought up something without me telling you. I wrote a piece for 97.5 The Fanatic that'll go up later today.
Okay.
Watching yesterday's game was incredibly reminiscent to me of watching another game. Last January's Eagles-Tampa game.
Yeah.
I felt the same way yesterday. I watched that game, and my buddy Mitch was in coming through town, and we're watching down in the Kincade. And I got to tell you, I watched the game almost dispassionately. This team can suck the life out of you.
Yeah.
It can cause you
like they had no
it
shot.
can cause you to go, what the hell's going on here today? And it rolled into me feeling very similar to that January night when it was snowing outside.
Yep.
And
I was in your hood that day.
And the Eagles season was going down the tubes. And that's what it reminded me of. I watched the game the same way. Christina said, I've never heard you so quiet in a Phillies postseason game.
Guess what, Johnny? Pick any way any season has ended for like the last 3 years.
Yeah, it's been rough. It's been rough. And like, I don't want to say they were like lifeless yesterday. It's just they couldn't hit.
Oh, I thought they were pretty lifeless.
Yeah, but it wasn't like their own doing. Like, I think the Eagles' lifelessness in Tampa Bay was 50-50.
They were ready to go home, right? Whereas like, Bohm gets thrown out at second because of a freaking incredible play. Like, it's not like he made a bad mistake going to second. It was a great play by the center fielder. And you go, of course that happened to us.
I hate this team's approach on the base path.
I know you do.
I did not say one word about that.
Oh, of course not.
Every single time. If that ball doesn't take the perfect bounce to his bare hand.
And by the way, he secures it in his bare hand.
I mean, to me, that was a complete
it was textbook.
fluke. A complete fluke. And everything needed to be perfect, and it happened.
Yeah.
I don't do any of that. I think more is the reaction afterwards from Bohm, which is a whole nother issue.
So, look, we are here to discuss yesterday's game. There is a game today, and if they win, there's a Game 5 at Citizens Bank Park with Zach Wheeler on the mound. They got to win today first. And obviously, tonight is not necessarily I feel great game because you don't know what you have at a Ranger Suarez. We could feel great come the third inning, or we could say we're watching another slow, painful death. But we have that game to watch today. But we are reacting to last night's game and the question, or more so the statement, but the discussion point, what tonight's game means. And it's more than just forcing a Game 5, as John Kincade said so eloquently. Because if they do lose today, and let's say they win, and God forbid they lose Game 5, there's going to be turnover on this team. And a lot of it. And a lot of your favorite players, because they have beards and because they have long hair and all that kind of stuff.
And they throw seeds.
Like,
and they pour water on people.
It could be a different Phillies team next year, but they got to win first. You can climb in at 610-632-0975. You're going to hear from Rob Thompson coming up next. He talked about the slow starts offensively. So you hear from the manager next. And also, the Eagles are on the table. If the Jets can do it, can the Eagles? We'll tell you exactly what next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
On Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. On a Game 4 NLDS Wednesday.
Thank you for saying that.
They still have a chance. But, John, if anybody wants to be emotional today, you have every right to, because it's not like...
It's fine.
It's not like you feel great today.
It's fine to be emotional. You can be emotional. But if you're one of those people saying, season's over, it's done, I don't need you back. I don't. I think you're a lousy fan. I think you're a lousy fan if you do it. But Connor, I understand.
Let's hold on for a second, because they are a game away from elimination.
They are.
So if you believe that tonight they are not going to win this baseball game because you think Ranger Suarez's arm is dead, I don't think that makes you a bad fan. Now, I think
then don't watch, because you've already figured out the ending of the movie. You say you know what it is. You're telling people my team's done. So what are you watching for? So you can jump back on the bandwagon tonight at 8:00. So you can come in Friday morning and be like, wee!
Well, you might believe one thing's going to happen and hope another thing is. I think that's normal fandom. I think people go too far, and I totally understand why some of those people piss you off. Like, some people will go way too far. This team's dead. They have no shot. Yeah. And that's crazy. But if you say, well, I don't really have faith in Ranger Suarez, and I think this is a really tough spot for them.
I'm going to have a hard time arguing. Connor, that person calls today or texts, I'm going to have a hard time arguing with them.
Right, because they could be dead.
But it's also different to say, in a Major League Baseball game, we see it all the freaking time, where teams beat, they're supposed to lose, and they go out and they score 9 runs. It makes no sense. Or the Oakland A's score 18 on the Phillies in a game, or whatever it is.
Baseball's a weird sport.
Different.
No, totally.
And so it's like people disregard what they know about baseball.
Yeah.
It's not like a football game where you go, very rarely.
Well, it's also a series.
You see, exactly. And things happen. The idea is, Connor, I have no problem with the person who's bummed out today or who says, I'm not feeling it with a bullpen game the way Rangers gone this second half of this season.
That's me.
That's a different, and that's why I have no issue.
That's why I needed them to win. That's why I needed them to win yesterday.
That's why I have no issue with you. Is there any doubt in your mind that the Phillies have a lineup that could produce enough runs?
I could see them scoring. I could see them scoring 9 runs.
Right. I mean, they could. No, there's reason to doubt it.
Yeah.
But you've seen this lineup just go on fire out of nowhere.
Right.
I don't have tolerance for the on again, off again, because what I find is the people who are the most Red October-ish are the people who are the first to jump off.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you believe they're losing tonight, that technically is believing the season's going to be over. Those are cousins to the fans that are going too far. So it's just, there will be some people like that I think are being rational, and then there will be some people that are being overly emotional. And we need to be able to separate it.
I think they're inbred.
All right.
I think they're inbred cousins, is what I'm saying. Cousins that were bred too closely, like something out of Ozark.
Jeez.
Is what I'm telling you.
Well,
that's it. It's one thing.
Let me transition from that.
You made it. Andrew makes it perfectly. If you tell me today, dude, I'm feeling awful today. They're sucking the life out of me. I got a hard time believing they're pulling this off today.
That's how I feel.
That's different. That makes total sense to me.
I can't argue with you. You know what I did last night?
What'd you do?
Can I be completely honest with you guys?
A gummy? Well,
yes.
Did I hit her?
But I needed some snacks. So
that's the gummy and the snacks.
Well, no, I did pre-gummy snack.
Oh, okay.
I knew that I needed something, so I got the emotional support food. I just got the chicken fingers, mac and cheese from Wawa, and a big peanut butter Reese's caramel cup. I needed this emotional eating.
So the inner chubster was coming out.
Damn right
because
it was,
of the
man.
stress
That's
eating?
what the Phillies do to me.
Guess what? I totally understand.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Well, I did sugarcoat it with 2 giant Reese's cups.
By the way,
that's what my emotionally last night I needed it.
The caramel cup.
Dude, so good. Matt Menard introduced me to it.
You too? Man. You ate it?
I went to Wendy's. Shout out our friends at Wendy's. I got 2 Krabby Patties because they're doing the Krabby Patty promotion now.
How was it?
It was good.
Okay.
It was very good. Plankton.
Yeah,
I know why he's stealing it.
That's where we're at today.
So last night.
You should have. We should be playing his return music today. The Fat Boys are back.
Damn right. We're back in town.
Get that in.
Feel free to chime in at 610-632-0975.
I understand it. Yep. I get it. Look, I totally get it, and I'm going to give people a hard time about it. But to me, the worst fans among us are the people who going into today go, they got no shot. It's terrible. They can't win. It's over. Season's done. It's the worst. They are the worst of our family members.
Well, let's hear from Rob Thompson, who brings.
This is not going to be good.
Well, see, that's what I'm talking about.
Because listen to him.
Here's the manager that. Look, I like Topper. I
know. He's Topper.
I did not like some of the decisions yesterday.
Topper.
I think they were in a tough spot yesterday, needing Nola to be damn near perfect, and he wasn't.
Nickname.
But here's Rob Thompson talking about the slow starts.
Yeah, it's tough to get down early, but we got to fight. I thought our bats early in the game were okay. We hit 3 balls right on the nose in the first inning, just that didn't have anything to show for it. And then as the game rolls along, I think at some point guys try to do a little bit too much, and we just need to stay with our approach and, pass the baton. That's what we always talk about, and just have good at-bats.
I mean, that's
Stay with our approach? Is he serious?
Oh.
Even they laughed at it on the NBC Sports Philadelphia. Stay with our approach? Could you tell me what their approach is, Andrew?
Their approach yesterday was to attack because Manaea was attacking the zone, and they just didn't hit the ball.
They have one thing about a baseball game, okay? You have an approach going in, and at some point when Schwarber got up there and Turner got up there, and they made Manaea throw strikes and he couldn't do it, they went up there with the approach, and they even admit it. They went up there with change up the approach. Don't be as aggressive. Let him throw strikes. He wasn't doing it. And then other guys don't do the same plan. I don't think they have an approach. I don't think Rob Thompson, they have an approach. Or if they have an approach, people aren't listening to it. They don't listen to it. Guys go rogue and do their own thing, swinging at balls outside the strike zone. Turner and Schwarber did a beautiful job of not swinging at balls outside the strike zone, and they identified them. I have every reason to believe that other guys could do the same, but they chose not to yesterday.
Well, but again, it depends. So I'm looking at. I just randomly went to the 3rd inning.
Okay.
Right. All right. So you're about to get back to the top of the order. All right. So they saw him one time.
Right. They saw him one.
So Sosa leads off the inning. He gets hit by a pitch. So he can't even work a count because first pitch he gets plunked. Right.
Which I'm all for. If Sosa goes up there and gets hit every time,
hey,
all for
he's on base. Rojas is up to bat. He squares the bunt, pulls back, ball 1. All right. I don't know why the bunt sign was then taken off that early.
I'm not sure either.
And oh, by the way, something that bugs me, and I'm not to do the whole bunting conversation. It's always they don't square anymore to try to sacrifice. It's all right. Let me try to sneak one by you. And I get it. Rojas is fast as hell, so maybe that was the play. I wouldn't have minded moving Sosa over to second base, but okay. So he takes strike 1 on the second pitch. The next pitch is actually it was out of the zone. It was a horrible swing. And then now you're 1-2. So what are you going to do? You have to swing. Schwarber, same thing. The pitches are all in the zone. He's got to swing. Turner hits a first pitch single, and then Bryce Harper. Strike 1 he looks at. Strike 2 he fouls off. Strike 3. Or in play outs. But they're all in the zone. Like, that's the thing. It's not like Bryce Harper's swinging at pitches 10 feet out of the zone. It's not like Castellanos.
When the 2 walks happened, he did.
Yes, that at bat. But the Turner and Schwarber, or the Turner and Castellanos swinging at pitches that are in the dirt, we didn't see that yesterday.
No, we did not see it.
Because Manaea was in the zone. So I get the approach conversation trying to work it. You needed to work Manaea out of that game early yesterday so that you could go to the taxed Mets bullpen. But if he's throwing strikes, what are you going to do?
And also the Harper thing. Let's remember, he put together an unbelievable at-bat in the 9th inning that helped you win Game 2.
It was unbelievable.
And he was very patient, and he had a great approach. So he's capable of doing it, and he's willing to do it. But in that spot, it felt very much, I'm sure to him, like the 6th inning of Game 2, where he needed to spark this offense, and he had 2 guys on, and he's like, one swing can change it. And if that guy's going to get aggressive at the plate, and a pitcher's going to make pitches that beat him or get him to swing out of the zone, I mean, that's just something you take with Bryce Harper because he's that damn good.
There was Manaea was around the zone all day, though.
Yeah.
I mean, he had 28 strikes. I mean, 28 balls. Like, he really wasn't throwing it was in the 90s.
And that's why I'm saying, like,
the 90s pitches.
I get the approach conversation, but if you're down 0-1 every single time.
Well, the swing, what did you think of their swings? Did you think I mean, they weren't, whatever it was, they had a very poor, what was it, game plan or otherwise? They were talking the broadcast. The swings looked like they were flailing.
Yeah,
it didn't look like they wwere great. I love that Rob Thompson goes, well, we were all right early, the offense, all right. No. Just because everybody's swinging out of their shoes, nobody on the Phillies approaches ever does the three-quarter swing. Never like this is, let me put bat on ball. Let me do it. It's all swinging out of their shoes.
Well, we can't go nobody because Bryson Stott had a triple on that exact approach.
Right. He did. Okay, I'm talking about this. Again, I'm talking about the stars of the movie.
Well, that's
their job.
No, it's what they do.
Yeah, Bryce Harper's never
going
to change that.
Right.
And he's going to have a unanimous first ballot Hall of Fame career.
And he's one of the greatest postseason players ever.
Right, so you're not going to change it. I mean, it sucks. I mean, the bats were just dead yesterday. That could be what it is. The bats could have just sucked and Minaya pitched a good game. And I know that's hard to admit.
No, it's hard.
We want to look at something to complain about. And I complain about things, too. There were things that Rob Thompson did yesterday that I don't get. But there are something like Alec Bohm hit a screamer into right center, and the guy makes a perfect play. Like, there's some things that just didn't go the Phillies' way yesterday, and that sucks.
Absolutely. It is. I don't have the dread feeling that maybe I should this morning after that yesterday. I don't have the dread feeling that everything's done because I think Minaya was freaking awesome.
Well, you got to hope that.
I think he was awesome.
You got to hope that Quintana's not today. All right, coming up next, we'll get to your text messages at 610-632-0975. Nick Sirianni, to see what happened in New York and go, uh-oh. We'll discuss that next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Mike Missanelli.
The Mets are just a relentless.
It's 47 on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. We check the text line, the phone line in a couple of minutes, but there's some big news in the NFL yesterday. First things first, the smaller bit of news does come right from NovaCare. Devin White released.
What a huge mistake.
That's back-to-back years where we thought we got something. Not that I thought Rashad Penny was going to run wild around the NFL, but here's a guy that everyone's like, oh, wow, sneaky signing by the Eagles.
You played Rashad Penny $1 million.
Yeah. Devin White got 7.5.
Devin White's a huge swing and miss. What's Bryce Huff?
Yeah. Not a great offseason so far for Howie.
And his head coach, a lot of people don't believe it.
Well, yeah.
This is why Howie Roseman should never be allowed to hire another coach.
Now, I will say the extensions that he did this offseason were tremendous.
I could give people money too. I could do that. No, that's something that anyone with a degree in business and an entire team of analytics to understand money could do also.
You're telling me the Cowboys don't have that guy, the Bengals don't have that guy.
No, the Cowboys have a guy in charge who wants to make the football decisions. Deciding on how to pay people, look, it's a skill. And they've got a great team, by the way.
Yes, it's
one
a
of their
team.
greatest money guys left the organization.
He's
this
in college
past
now,
offseason.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's now going to do NIL stuff. It's a team. It's not just Howie doesn't just sit in an office and go, I'm the mastermind of this.
Right.
He's got an entire team that does that. By the way, credit to him for finding the great people and employing them and making it work. He should never be able to hire another coach, though. So make this work.
He will.
Because this is a disastrous offseason, money-wise.
Yeah,
and what if
it's been
C.J.
rough.
Gardner-Johnson?
Yeah, well,
I heard
look,
Bill,
we'll see
I
him
heard Bill
turn things
Colarulo
around,
talk
I
about
hope.
it on middays.
Yeah.
What if C.J. Gardner-Johnson continues on this path?
Oh, you know what I've said? I've said he's been bad all season long. He's not,
No, we've talked about it.
he's
And
not
if-
had a good game
And if it
all
doesn't,
season.
if it doesn't turn around, you could argue that he's had the worst offseason of any general manager, even with the Saquon Barkley signing, because the Saquon Barkley signing is pretty much a no-brainer.
You got to throw Mekhi Becton in there, too. He's been really good when he's
big
been
move.
healthy as a
He's
starting
been
offensive
good.
lineman.
He has been good. That is a cheap salvage job, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I believe Howie has very little to do with the salvage job.
Yeah, and I don't know how much credit we give him for Zach Bond. That was probably more
I give
Vic Fangio.
I don't.
Yeah,
I give Vic Fangio that because Vic Fangio.
But
did it.
anyway, we'll relay
I mean,
to
to
Howie
me,
Roseman.
but look, just make it work
Yeah.
because make it work.
Now, what was the bigger news in the NFL was Robert Saleh being fired, the head coach of the New York Jets. So I asked this question, not if the Jets could do it, why can't the Eagles? If the Jets can do it, could the Eagles do it? And this is why I asked that question. The Jets had Super Bowl aspirations this year. Great defense, right?
There were people who picked them.
Yeah, oh my God, yeah. Look, we went through it. We went through the division winners and who's picking the Super Bowl winners or Super Bowl matchups, and there was New York Jets love because the defense is that good, and even Aaron Rodgers at 75%, not the prime future Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers, could do some damage with the weapons that he has around him. And clearly, the offense has been a mess. The defense has been good. Yeah, that he wanted.
The offense that he wants
And
is terrible.
Robert Saleh gets fired. Now, let's look at the Eagles. Very similar situation, right? The offense that we're supposed to be seeing all these great numbers from have been very disappointing. The defense, obviously not as elite as New York, but we have seen some good games. And it's been a disappointing first 4 weeks, despite them being 2-2, and the Jets are now what?
They're 2-3.
2-3. Okay.
You lose this week, you have the same record.
So, not the if the Jets can do it, why can't the Eagles? If the Jets can do it, John, could the Eagles do it?
Sure they could. Lose to the Browns. Lose to the Browns, I think it happens.
I'll say this. Lose to the Browns, it better happen.
Lose to the Browns, I absolutely think it can happen. They will not lose to the Browns. They will tattoo the Browns.
Yeah,
But
we'll see about tattoo.
no, I think they will tattoo the Browns. I believe it 100%.
They better.
But hey, Robert Saleh cannot be compared in any way, shape, or form to Nick Sirianni.
Sirianni has so much more success.
Nick Sirianni has playoffs every single year. He has a trip to the Super Bowl. Robert Saleh hasn't delivered on any of it.
Correct.
And he's one of those Billy Big Balls coaches.
Yeah.
Bench pressing with the players.
Probably a great defensive coordinator.
Wearing his mediums.
He'll probably be a great DC somewhere else.
Look at my guns.
He was great in San Francisco as a defensive coordinator.
Look at my guns, man. I'm one of the players. He pretends like he's one of the players.
He'll probably be a great defensive coordinator.
Yes, he would.
Again.
Guess what?
Yeah.
He was fantastic at it.
He was.
But head coach doesn't look like he could lead a bachelor party to a strip club.
I'll tell you what. You know who's the luckiest the Eagles had a Week 5 bye? It's Nick Sirianni.
It could be.
Why?
6-1. Oh, go ahead.
Because if we had more data going into a bye week, he could be gone. The fact that it's only 4 games, you can't really make the call yet. But if it was a Week 7 bye and you saw him go 1-1 against like the Browns and the Giants,
they're 3-3. Yeah.
I get what you mean now. I get what you mean.
Because then they would do the whole, we got 2 weeks to prepare with this new interim head coach.
Right. Yeah, okay, I get
he
what
was
you mean.
probably
Connor.
going, let's go Week 5 bye.
So if the Jets can do it, could the Eagles do it? Is our other question today at 610-632-0975. Let's go to Ron in Allentown. Ron, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, guys. Morning.
What's up, Ron?
Hi, Ronnie.
First things first, Johnny, tip of the cap to you. My mom's going to be 84 in December. She's 3 years cancer-free.
I love it. Tell your mom she's a hero, a heroine, I should say.
She is, and she did this because she has a fighter's attitude.
Yep.
And you know that's what it takes to get through that sort of thing.
You do.
Now,
And
the Phillies don't seem to have that.
no, they seem to be like, I got to tell you, it's one of the things that I don't admire is when people get dealt minor adversities and act like the world's falling on top of them. And I think the Phillies have quite a few of them on their roster. That's the way they look and they react to adversity.
That speaks to the personality of the team, though, right? Because on paper, all the experts say the Phillies are a better team.
They are better.
They are better.
Better starting-
Ability-wise, they are hands
Yes.
a better team. So then, if you take ability out of the equation, does it become the personality of the team that doesn't get them past the Mets? If that's the case, in the
or
end.
someone keeps telling them, it's okay, guys. How you are is okay. How you do things is okay, and pats them on the head.
So, Ron, we appreciate the call. I have something to that I want to bring up coming up next. All right, so our Eagles question, if the Jets could do it, could the Eagles do it? John brought up a great point about how tonight's game means more than just forcing a Game 5. It means something for the future. To what you just said, the Rob Thompson patting on the head.
Oh, yes. Like he's saying the offense was good yesterday. It was okay. It was good.
I have something to that I want to bring up coming up next. You're also going to hear some great audio from the big guns, Schwarber, Harper, Castellanos. What is their mindset heading into today? You'll hear that next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phils fall in Game 3.
on Kincade Salciunas 97.5, The Fanatic. It's a Wednesday. So it's an Adam
is
Schefter Wednesday. Shefty joins us coming up at 8 o'clock, which will be a nice breath of fresh air from talking about the Phillies' loss yesterday, even though we're going to end up talking about the Eagles, who are, I don't know how much of a mint they are.
I'm very optimistic that things are turning in that,
that makes one.
turning in that. I really am. I'm looking at this team right now and thinking things are about to turn in a very positive way, and damn, do we need it.
I'm just at the point now where I got to see it first.
I know, and I completely understand.
It all makes sense. The roster,
dude.
The coordinators, the team that they're facing on Sunday.
Dude, I understand completely.
I need to see it.
And after the last year and any Eagles fan who says the same thing to me, you'll get no argument from me.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, I think you will end up where I am in the next few weeks.
I sure as hell hope so. That would be nice. When it comes to the Eagles, our question today, if the Jets can do it, could the Eagles do it? And that, of course, means firing the head coach. We'll talk to Shefty about that coming up at 8. John, you said it right. I mean, Saleh has not done anything close to what Sirianni has done. So
if Nick Sirianni, and we know he listens because he quotes me at press conferences.
Yes.
If Nick Sirianni's driving in, though, he's saying, screw you, Salciunas. How do you even bring my name up with Robert Saleh?
I just asked the question.
Yeah, but he's saying, how in the world would a Robert Saleh conversation have anything to do with me?
Well, I painted the picture. They also have Super Bowl aspirations. Both teams, the Eagles and the Jets. It's not every team has Super Bowl aspirations. No, these two teams are legitimate Super Bowl contenders on paper.
I never thought they were, so I didn't.
I didn't either. I thought they were going to win the division. That was it.
I thought Miami was going to win the division, and I didn't realize what Tua was going to have.
I think we're both wrong.
But it may not even be the comparison between the coaches. We've all had
the situation.
We've all had our friend group where everyone has a girlfriend, and then one of the guys breaks up with their girlfriend. And then you're like, would it be cool to be single again? You think about it. You have the thought. You might not do it, but the thought goes through your head.
Spoken like a true single man over there, Connor. Good job. All right, so that's our Eagles question. Of course, overall Phillies reaction. Now, I want to say something. We're going to play some audio for you in a few minutes, and we'll get to our text line as well. It's 610-632-0975. So you said something to our last caller. Ron? Is it Ron?
Yeah, it was Ron.
Ron. And Ron said maybe it's coming from somebody that's providing an atmosphere where it doesn't seem like they have to fight. And, of course, you bring up Rob Thompson.
That what they're doing, it's okay. He excuse makes for his players. And, by the way, players love that.
Well,
players love that.
Sure
when a
do.
manager takes
In
the bullet
media,
for them,
yeah.
they love that.
Except Jalen Hurts. He's the only guy that doesn't love it.
So I am not saying that Rob Thompson is doing something differently than a lot of coaches do. There are a lot of coaches and managers, though, who do not.
Right.
That's not their mentality. He's one of those guys. There are many like him. So don't take it as, Thompson's doing something so ridiculous or stupid.
Right.
But I don't get it.
Now, to that point.
Yep.
The everything's okay, patience, all that kind of stuff. Was it a bad move to bench Bohm and then to not play Stott yesterday? And here's why I asked that question. All season long, it's all good, guys. It's all good. You lose game 1, you bench Alec Bohm. And I'm not disagreeing with the benching. But again, when you're preaching one thing for 2 years now, or 2.5 years now, and in the first sign of adversity in the playoffs, you bench Alec Bohm, and then Bryson Stott, who statistically should not have played yesterday, played against lefties all season. And then all of a sudden, in the playoff game, following him having one of the bigger moments in the game with that triple, you go, well, listen, I got to go with Sosa here because the numbers say so. So you're right that he does that all year round, John. But is it a bad thing to him then all of a sudden flip that 2 games in the playoffs? I see you nodding your head, Connor.
Absolutely, it's a bad thing.
You think it is, really?
You die on your shield. If you're going to be that guy, 1 game into a postseason run, you cannot then all of a sudden turn. To me, at least, you cannot all of a sudden turn around. And I know people might have loved to see that with Alec Bohm. Like, this is what we wanted from Rob Thompson.
Right.
But if you're that guy for 2.5 years, including postseasons of the past, it's not like in 2022 and 2023 he changed his philosophy in the postseason.
In 2022, the platoon was there. In the regular season, the platoon was there. Down the stretch, the platoon was there. Playoffs, the platoon was there. There was no platooning with Stott.
And that's why the Wheeler move, annoyed the heck out of me in the 2022 World Series. The Kimbrel move,
As it should have.
in the 2023 NLCS, annoyed the heck out of me. But Rob Thompson could sit behind that podium and say, I've trusted these guys all year.
I've been doing this all
trusted them
year,
in that
yeah.
spot. I'm going to live and die with my strategy, and if it's not good enough, it's not good enough. And this year, he's not going to be able to, whenever the season ends, and hopefully it's in November, he's not going to be able to sit behind that podium and say, I trusted these guys all year, and I went down with my guys.
Yeah, because I wonder if that's a bad message to the players. Now, look, Harper, Turner, those guys are all in the lineup, and that's not changing. And I didn't disagree with not playing Stott yesterday, but it's one thing to not play Stott if he had been doing that all season long.
I'm going to tell you something here, and it's a little speaking out of school.
Okay.
But people who cover this series that are actually embedded and traveling with the teams.
Yeah.
I had a good conversation yesterday with somebody. When Alec Boehm was benched before Game 2, Rob Thompson was receiving much support for doing it. That is what I will say.
Okay.
That is what I was told. It was, so to me, I took that as the veterans in the locker room completely understood what he did and completely backed it.
Yeah, they weren't doing the Rudy jersey, throwing it on the table.
Nobody was pissed at Rob, that it was put to me that Rob Thompson doesn't make moves like that without knowing how his sort of executive council feels about it.
Right.
By the way, that's something, again, that I'm not being dismissive to. I think that is smart business on a baseball manager.
Sirianni did not do that last year with the Patricia thing.
And he went in, and they were all shocked by it.
Yeah.
I admire Rob Thompson for being a guy who wants to get the pulse of his team before making moves. I was told that there wouldn't have been any veterans going in, banging on the desk, saying, what are you doing to Bo?
Now, what about Stott?
I think Stott gets a lot of support. I did not hear anything on Stott, so I cannot speak to that. But what I did get told was there was nobody would have been uprising saying,
Yeah, I'm not so much worried about the team, though. It's weird. I'm worried about Boehm, and I'm worried about Stott. I'm worried about the individuals he's sitting because they probably are, blindsided by this.
Okay, so let's put Boehm aside. Let's focus strictly on Stott.
Because that's a different scenario.
I'm ready to – I'm going to tell you right now, depending on what happens tonight, I'm ready to put Boehm at the curb.
Okay.
So
let's focus Stott
we
then.
do recycling and trash on Fridays.
Nice.
So I'll maybe
you'll
Thursday
put him
night.
out there with you?
Don't hold
Thursday
your breath
night he
on
gets
that one,
put
Johnny.
out.
He'll
He
still
gets
be
put
here.
out.
You got another lefty going tonight for the Mets.
I know.
So is Stott not playing today?
Stott plays today.
Well,
Because first of all,
I agree. He has to because it's an elimination game. You need your best players out there. But you just told the guy pretty much, hey, you're not good enough to face Sean Manaea, who's a left-handed pitcher. But, hey, you're good enough to face Jose Quintana, who's a left-handed pitcher.
I don't know what the split, as far as his career numbers are against Quintana, and that's something that we can look up, and
I'll
we'll
look
get
it
a
up
look
right now
at.
for you.
But to me, again, and it really was, I can't say lucky, but Sosa did a fine job of recovering.
Oh, that ground ball, man.
That ground ball should have been cleanly handled,
It would have been
and it
double
should have
play
been
ball.
simple. And it could have been a double play ball. And he blew it.
Yeah.
That's 2 days in a row where the first really play he has to make of any significance, it's as if he's defusing a bomb.
And neither of those are textbook easy plays, but
The other one the other day should have been a base hit in the infield. It's the throw that was the error. It was the throw that was the mistake.
guess what? It's the postseason. You got to make the difficult plays.
You're right. You're right.
So,
By the way, Bryson Stott in his career against Jose Quintana is 0 for 2 with a strikeout.
I'm fine with it. Put him in the lineup. That's not enough. That's not enough of a sample size to say, I'm concerned. I know this. Bryson Stott will go up there and give me better at-bats than six of the 9 guys up there. As far as seeing pitches.
Right. I'm just focusing on the doing one thing all season long, and then all of a sudden going, oh, man, I can't play him. And look, a month ago I was saying to you guys, I did not think Stott was worthy of being every day against left-handed pitching. I said it. So, I was okay with the move yesterday. But you have another lefty going today. So is it Sosa once again in an elimination game, or is it Stott? When he just was told, hey, you're not playing today.
The weird thing is we're questioning this. And there are so many things that I think that he's strangely done. Remember, I had my laundry list of things from Game 2 when they won. And again yesterday, I have no idea how Rob Thompson manages a game. I think he manages games in vacuums. That's how I put it in writing this morning, and that's how I would put it now in my words.
Yeah.
I think he manages each game as if it's its own entity without thinking about some of the things the topic as you and Connor are discussing there. It's the idea of what do we know that should give us a little more data for this one game you're managing? Because he managed yesterday like it was the Game 4, not the Game 3.
Estevez did not need a pitch yesterday.
I have no idea what he was thinking. But then again, I say that a million times with Rob Thompson. And his postseason strategy, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I thought he managed a fine game in Game 1, and they got their asses kicked. And and to me, he managed a confounding game in Game 2, and they won.
And they won. It's amazing, isn't it? All right, so you can chime in.
And of course, I have all the answers if Rob needs.
Damn right. Kincade calculator.
He's got all the answers. I got all the answers.
You got a lot to say, too.
And mine would all work. I got a lot to say.
All right, we'll check the text line in a moment, but I want to play some audio from you from the big guns. So the mindset heading into Game 4. Here is Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah, there's no tightening up. There's no anything, right? Like, our job is to do one thing, win a baseball game tomorrow. And our goal is to find a way to make sure that we can get it back to Philadelphia. And that's our mindset. That's what it is.
Like, I think that's the only mindset you can have, right? Like, it's, hey, we got to win a baseball game. Because the series isn't over, and we're trying to make that point. Even though I'm down in the dumps, the series is not over. You win today. You got Zach Wheeler at Citizens Bank Park on Friday.
Tell me this, both of you. Give me a number. Give me a number on like you're as far as
69.
14.
Nice.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, exactly. Nice. Give me a number of honestly at 7:15 this morning where you think it could go in the Phillies' favor today. 0 to 100.
Percentage chance where it goes the Phillies' way? I'm going to go 45%.
Okay, you're higher than me.
Oh, really?
I think he's higher than me.
I'm going to go 55%.
Wow. Now you see, this is crazy.
See, I lean Mets. I'm just leaning Mets. Like, that's basically what my percentage.
And I'm just leaning Phils.
Yeah.
See, no, my number is, I think there's around a 4 out of 10 shot they win today.
All right, so I'm only 5% higher than you.
Yeah, but my number was the lowest.
Yeah.
And you guys, I think seem more negative about their prospects when we talk about it than I do.
Because I'm terrified of it.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
Okay, so
but it doesn't mean the Phillies don't have a chance.
No, it doesn't. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I think I've seen too much in baseball to just go.
Yeah, I
oh,
can't.
Man,
I'm not saying 10%.
This is over.
And guess what, boys?
No, there are people who are saying 0%.
We had the conversation yesterday about which team needs Game 3 the most. Which team needs Game 4 the most?
Yeah. No, I said it. I said it yesterday. I said, because to me, I think it's ridiculous when people toss around must win.
Yeah.
Today is a must win.
Absolutely.
I don't
Today's
know.
a must
I think
win.
they got a shot there.
Yeah, sure. Here's Bryce Harper following yesterday's game as well.
He got us today, beat us. Obviously, we had some situations, me personally as well, didn't come through and didn't let it happen. So just got to go get him tomorrow. Just got to win. I think we've done that all year. So just got to go out there, get Quintana, and win a game.
I appreciate the calmness in their voice. It's probably more so than most Phillies fans. They sound more calm than we do. You just got to win a baseball game. But it's the right attitude.
Okay, it's the right attitude. It's the right attitude for Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper has a wonderful sense of Bryce Harper.
Correct.
And I think it's one of the reasons why Bryce Harper is not the leader of this club. He's the
lead by example guy.
Correct. He is not the leader of other people.
Well, that's why I played Schwarber first, because that's the guy.
Correct, because Bryce Harper knows the owner's manual to Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, others in his sport don't function at that incredible level.
That's why a lot of great players don't become good coaches.
Or horrible managers.
Yeah, because they don't know. They just go out there and do it. Do it the way I did.
Most of the great managers in baseball that played in the major leagues,
they're backup catchers.
Were absolute a lot of catchers.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys who were never ever stars.
Yeah.
Because maybe they spent more time observing. Bryce Harper's he's a freaking superhero. He can do things that the normal guy can't. And that, I think, makes it hard for him to lead.
A scholar once said, if you can't do, teach. And if you can't teach gym class.
Shout out Jack Black, baby.
That is good.
School of
But,
Rock.
like, they should be more calm than the fan base is. Like, that makes total sense. If you're driving in a car, who's more nervous, the passenger or the person with their hands on the wheel? They don't build the oblique handles on the driver's side.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what's funny, though, is, Connors, that, though, and tell me about coaches you played for or people you worked for. I personally hate yellers. Yell at me, my listening ears are off.
Yeah, I had a couple coaches
But
that way.
you can get
One
in
got
my
arrested.
But you can get in my face and one-on-one tell me, I'm not pleased with this. This is bullcrap. Change your behavior or attitude.
Yeah.
And I can react real well to it.
And we don't know. Thompson might do that. We don't know.
I do not believe that. No, because we would know. We would know. We would know that people would talk about it. That, hey, when Rob gets behind closed doors, you hear
Right.
that about
Okay.
man. He has enough. He's been managing enough. We don't hear that.
Okay.
He is a guy who I believes even keel.
Yeah.
Even keel, keep it straight. Look, and Rob Thompson's had a ton of success. I think what Rob Thompson's really good at, he's really good at. What he's poor, I just don't. I never thought he was a strategist, and I think it's playing out again.
All right, one more clip for you. So we played the leader of the clubhouse vocally, Kyle Schwarber.
Right.
Then we played the leader by example, Bryce Harper. Then we play, last but not least, the man who doesn't mince words. Here's Nick Castellanos. We'll play cut one for you here, Connor. The Phillies being close to death.
Well, as a group, this is the closest to death we're ever going to get. So in a way, we should feel the most alive. We're only promised tomorrow, and this is what we've been working since spring training for, to have this opportunity. And it's just one more time to show out and leave everything on the field, and however the dice is going to land, it's going to land.
Look, it's a great answer.
I love that.
It's just very Hurts.
No,
it's Hurts-esque, but I love the answer.
I swear I love the answer.
I do. I love it.
I think
that's why I wanted to play the best for last.
I think that is a spectacular answer.
Yeah.
And it's simplistic, and it's visceral. It's the truth. Is that when you're up against it, show me who you are. Show me who you are. Are you mopey Alec Boehm? Are you sitting there when the things are tough?
Yeah.
Or are you more steely-eyed and you're more like, damn, give me another shot. Give me another shot. Okay, I'm and you can see the seething. You can see I want something.
And I think I
out.
heard that from all three of them in different ways, but all three of them are like,
oh, absolutely.
Hey, we're not done. Like they're probably. Well, you always do the example if Donovan McNabb's driving in the car and he hears the
And
way
they're
people are
hearing
talking
this.
about Jalen Hurts.
Oh, it's the truth.
Dude, if Bryce Harper's driving the car right now, he's probably going, "Guys, we're not done yet."
And I agree. And the thing is, I can't believe it, but Nicky Six, I'm going to tell you, Castellanos, the doubles boy, is going to bring it home today. 'Cause that's a great attitude.
Love that. All
Great
right.
attitude.
Coming up next, we get to your text messages. We talk to the people, but also we play manager. What does Thompson do tonight?
What would Rob do? Do we get a little bracelet?
Yeah, because the lineup's questionable. When you didn't play Stott last night, do you play him tonight? It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. It's 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, let's get to a couple of our texts. We'll go to the phones, and then I want to play manager because tonight is a do-or-die game. And the question is, do you do everything you can in order to win? Or, as we talked about earlier, Rob Thompson is, it's okay, guys, it's okay, guys, it's okay, guys. And then all of a sudden he benches guys and all of a sudden plays the splits. Does he do that today? Like, I don't know what Rob Thompson does today. Like, I'm fascinated to see what this lineup looks like. I was actually shocked when Stott was not in the order yesterday.
When I heard the news, I was shocked.
Even though I understood it, I was shocked that he did it because of who Rob Thompson is. So we'll play manager in a few minutes. But what do we got on the text line, Connor? Phillies, of course, open-ended conversation. And then our Eagles discussion. If the Jets can do it, could the Eagles do it? And that, of course, the Jets firing Robert Saleh. And we all know how we feel about Nick Sirianni. What do we got?
I think this is Taylor Swift checking in because they start the text off, Dear John.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
No, it's Alan Maniuk. And he says, Dear John, we love our Phillies, but they are done. You know, we know, they know. And that's the thing.
Then be off. Then do not be back on tomorrow. Because season's over, you've written them off, you're done. Do not dare. If you know, what's his name?
Al from Maniac.
Al from Maniac. Al, if anyone knows you, and tomorrow you're doing the whole Red October crap on Friday afternoon going, Wheeler, man, we're going to the NLCS. You suck as a fan. You absolutely suck as a fan.
Now, hold on.
You got one day.
Hold on.
No, I'm not going to hold on.
What if it's a coping mechanism?
Then you know what? You absolutely are soft as baby poop. You're soft. For God's sakes. If you've given up and you say it's over, then do not dare get back on.
Let me ask you this.
Do not dare.
What percentage of the fan base do you think wakes up this morning and goes, it's over?
There's a difference. There's a difference to go what Andrew has said, what you have said.
No, I'm saying what Al said in that text. Wake up and say, season's over.
I'd say 15%.
I think it's more. I think it's like 35, 40% of the fan base is feeling that way.
Then you know what? Then it's exactly what a lot of people point to in the postseason in this town. Then we got a lot of fraud element in the fan base. That are people who are, I'm all in. No, I'm all out. I'm all in. And people will say, well, that's what a fan is. No, it's not. The majority of fans are not like that. The majority of fans are more live and die with their team.
Well, hang on.
They're feeling like they're dying right now.
Guess what? You know what? I got plenty of time tonight at 8:15 to die with this team. I got plenty of time for it, and I'll be here for it tomorrow morning if it happens. But I'll be damn well not doing it this morning. I'm not.
But I get ripped over 162 for being fanboy, for believing in this team through thick and thin by a lot of people.
Because what I think happens there is something that has happened the last couple years, and I think it could happen again tomorrow. Things that you say over and over again, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's baseball. Doesn't matter. The things that don't matter eventually matter.
Well,
the people that say, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Eventually, that's what takes you down.
We are seeing my point 100% proven, and I'll tell you why really quickly.
Why is that?
Because this bullpen, there was 0% reason to not have faith in them, and they've been terrible.
You're right. You are right about
that. John, it doesn't matter till it matters. And I get what we talked about all season long. I haven't seen base running issues from this team in this series.
I have not at all.
Or defensive issues.
No, I have not at all.
Well, Sosa's yesterday, but that that was a one play. The approach.
The approach has not been good.
But again, and I'll stand by it. Manaea attacked the zone yesterday.
But also, no one said the approach doesn't matter. It's they're going to live and die with this because it's the team they are.
He threw 26 balls yesterday.
Yeah,
by the way, it was
in 91 pitches.
That is.
Yeah.
He was in the zone. That's almost obscene.
Yeah.
That's Wheeler-esque.
Now, of course, some of them they chased, which is why they're strikes.
I got you, but 26?
No, for the most part,
No,
he was around
they
the
did a
zone.
better
And
job.
sometimes you just got to go, hey, Sean,
And the thing is, if
congrats,
you're gonna,
bro. You pitched
And
your
look,
ass off.
Look, I got no problem with you if you live by it. So if you're a person, whoever you are, saying it's over today, I've got no problem with you if you live by it. Don't wake up tomorrow morning, put on your Phillies crap, and be like, Red October, baby! Here we go, Wheeler, let's go! Because you know what? You're a fraud. You're a complete fraud. Because when the going gets tough, you turn your back on your team. You're not a fan. You're a cash.
Yeah,
you're
but
an absolute.
John,
you're an absolute. The
how
person
much
that
are
does that is
people-
casual.
But how much are people saying that just because they?
Because they're sad about it.
No, but like
because they're
you know
scared
they're gonna
to
watch.
lose.
You know they're gonna watch today.
Well, then, yeah, but they're not. But they're not being. You're not supporting. That's not supporting your team. It's
still
not.
They're gonna
We have
wave
got-
their rally towels.
We
and
have
stuff.
gotten
like,
so damn soft. We have gotten so damn soft as people.
You don't think people
US
were saying "I'm done" back in 2000?
What do you mean?
Like, you don't think if a series was not going the way that you expected it to,
it's
people
the
were
idea-
saying that back
no,
then?
but the idea is that you identify in your fan base the fans that are live and die and the fans that are just cash. I'm in when they're good and I'm out when they're bad.
Yeah, but when people say I'm out, they're not actually turning off. They're not going to watch General. What time's General Hospital?
3 o'clock.
Oh, I'm sorry.
By the way, and they're killing Sam. And I know what they're doing. They're killing Sam for Lulu's liver.
Lulu.
So they can have a liver transplant for Lulu.
But like, there's somebody's not going to be put on the 6 o'clock news today.
No, but look,
like they're going to watch the Phillies game.
That's fine. But again, they're cash. They're in it when it's good, and they're out when it's bad. That sucks. That sucks. It's like the Sixers fans who say, "Oh, we already know what's going to happen." That sucks. You're not really a Sixers fan if that's how you feel. And that to me is look.
You can see the writing on the wall.
You can have. I agreed with what you and Connor said earlier. I agreed totally with your
like
point
my
of view.
baseball acumen tells me they lose today, and I hate having that feeling.
And to me, that is completely different.
Okay.
Than say
Fair.
because you're going. I gotta feel, dude. They've given me no reason to
I
believe.
still got my Phillies
And
cap
that's it.
on. I'm going. I'm
Exactly.
going into the game today.
You're not
Watching it as a fan.
You're not walking around going, "It's over."
Yeah, my
Done.
baseball acumen just
Game's
tells me
done.
this. I don't like the spot that they're in.
And yes, that mentality has absolutely changed in my lifetime, and I can speak to it from firsthand experience.
Right.
It has absolutely changed. People used to love to stick around to the bitter end just to then be able to
right.
take out the pitchforks.
Beat the dead horse. Let's
I'm
go to
amazing.
Carlos in Philly. Carlos, you're on 97.5, The Fanatic.
Hello?
What's up, Carlos?
What's going on there?
Hey, how you guys doing? Good morning.
What's up, man?
I think it's more of an issue, like, we can get into all the X's and O's of coaching, but I don't think that's the issue. I think it's I'll make a quick analogy. It's kind of like if you go to Chick-fil-A. You go to Chick-fil-A, it's fantastic service, clean dining room, clean bathroom.
My pleasure.
Everybody greets you. It's a philosophy. It's a philosophy of how you run your business. The Phillies' philosophy, Thompson's philosophy, is let my guys go up there and be aggressive. And our hitters go up there and they're super aggressive. Guys that aren't talented enough are swinging at first pitches. They don't work the count. And that's his philosophy. He's like, let them swing, let them play. And as a result, we hit home runs, we win. We don't hit home runs, we don't win.
And what happens when the games get the toughest and the opponents get the toughest? We've seen
That's the problem. That philosophy of, like, be loose, swing away, that works in the regular season. You're going to win 90 games. You're going to win 96 games. You're going to win your division. But in the playoffs, when every pitch is a life or death pitch, that philosophy does not work.
Yeah,
Carlos is so freaking smart.
Thanks for the call,
He's
Carlos.
so smart.
You're the man.
Because I don't get it. That's how inferior teams like the Diamondbacks and other teams can find ways to beat you. And by the way, an inferior team like the Mets could find a way to beat you because of their approach is different.
There was a criminal moment yesterday. Criminal moment. Like, this man should be arrested.
Is that any one of the stupid morons in a Grimace outfit?
No.
Oh, okay.
So, it's the fifth inning.
All right.
Manai's dealing, as we know.
Right.
Again, Austin Hayes strikes out on 3 pitches, all in the zone. Okay, so it's not. Well, yeah. I mean, he's a problem. I don't like the guy.
I hope Mikey Miss, our man Mikey Miss, has finally put down. If he ever mentions Austin Hayes again having to be in there,
Austin Hayes
I never want to hear it again.
Goes down on 3 pitches, called strike, Strike 2 swinging in the zone. Strike 3 just off the black, but too close to take. Edmundo Sosa, next batter. Strike 1, called strike. The next pitch was the one that hit him on the foot, and he swung horrible, right? That's not him striking out on 3 pitches is not the cardinal sin, criminal, should be arrested this move. To Carlos's point, there is no way Johan Rojas should be swinging at the first pitch when the first 2 guys struck out in a total of 6. He swings first pitch on a pitch that is a foot out of the zone and grounds out. That is a organizational thing or something. Like, that's a, Connor, that's a, hey, you point to the eye, take one. You can't see the opposing team's pitcher strike out the first 2 guys on 6 pitches and then have your guy swinging first pitch.
Yeah, and here's the thing, right? Mike was talking about this on Middays yesterday. He brought up a great point yesterday or 2 days ago about, like, telling professional hitters to take, and you don't give them the take sign like it's Johnny's dad down there at third base. That's more on I don't want to put that on anyone besides the individual player. Like, Rojas needs to know.
He needs to not swing in that spot.
Like, hey, dude. Like,
first off, it wasn't even chill. It was a ball. Like, he swung at a pitch that was a foot off the plate.
If we're talking, though, and again, we're talking about, like, Rojas.
Yeah, that guy needs to be coached.
Can we? Okay, we're bringing up Rojas as if he's a problem. Can we talk about the guys who are actually supposed to be professional hitters?
You're right.
That have that don't do it?
I'm not trying to make Rojas to be the bad guy here.
The hallowed child, JT Realmuto, who has done freaking nothing.
John, I'm just saying that is a cardinal sin.
It is.
What Johan Rojas did is a cardinal sin when the first 2 guys strike out in 6 pitches. And that goes back to the organizational conversation.
Bohm did it in his pinch hit at bat in game 2.
Yeah, he can't
where
do it.
He came up, Jose Buto couldn't find the strike zone. You swing first pitch and you pop one.
That's a cardinal sin.
How about the one? I don't know why I'm laughing. Gallows humor. That they're literally out. Weren't even back from commercial, and Alec Bohm was out.
Yeah.
The ball was in play when they came back.
You're
As
right.
he swings at yet another weak-ass swing on a first pitch.
Yep, it's amazing. All right, coming up next, we play manager. What does Rob Thompson do? We get to more of your reaction at 610-632-0975. Don't forget, it's a Wednesday. Adam Schefter joins at 8 o'clock. We get to talk about the stress of the Phillies and then the stress of the Eagles with Adam Schefter. Coming up at 8 o'clock, it's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Mike Missanelli.
They're only 2-2, and you might think like the sky is falling. That this is the end of this.
T-U-N-E. Hopefully we're singing a different tune tonight, Johnny. The word tune, you text it to 45911, enter via the Fanatic app or 975thefanatic.com. One random entry wins $1,000 in this company-wide contest. A winner will get a call from Beasley, so be sure to answer your phone. Complete rules at 975thefanatic.com. It's all sponsored by Rand Spear, the accident lawyer.
Coming up at 10, Mike Missanelli. This is Philadelphia Sports Talk with Kincade and Salciunas. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
So, John, if the Phillies were to win tonight, it would all be because of nifty 50s. I was so down in the dumps until food was brought to the station, courtesy of our friends at Nifty 50s. I just took a bite of a cheesesteak breakfast sandwich. Honestly, man, I don't even know if a Phillies win could do as much as what the sandwiches did for me.
I swear to you, it made Connor smile so much. That made my day.
Yeah.
It took Connor out of the dumps. That was awesome.
I needed that. I'm so happy.
Connor's going with a vanilla milkshake at 8 a.m. I'm going with the cheesesteak egg roll.
Pumpkin Oreo milkshake.
Oh,
Put some
pumpkin Oreo.
respect on
My
Nifty
apologies.
50's name.
What do you
That's
got?
awesome.
What do you got there?
I had the vanilla milkshake is over here, but this is the bacon, egg, and cheese.
Oh, yeah. Dude.
Oh, my God.
Shout out to Nifty 50s
By the way,
for making our day.
And it's not one of those things where they skimp on the bacon.
Oh, no, it's real. Trust me, I've had that one.
And you can taste it.
You got the whole pig there. All right. Let's head to the
quit stuffing
Comcast
your
Business
mouths. We got
Hotline.
Schefter.
Every day in business is a big day. Let Comcast Business help you move forward with what's next. He's brought to us by Landis Block. Create your very own jaw-dropping backyard paradise online at landisbc.com. I might ask him a question where he has to give a long answer so I can eat this entire sandwich during it. Schefter, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How you doing? That sandwich sounds awfully tasty.
It is awfully tasty. I can tell you firsthand, it's delicious. All right, Adam, big news out of New York yesterday. Robert Saleh gets fired. And, of course, we always turn things into an Eagles discussion. So I'll ask you straight up, if the Jets can do it, could the Eagles do it, or is this two totally different situations?
Well, I think it's different. Robert Saleh had not gotten his team to a Super Bowl. Robert Saleh had not won consistently. I know the Eagles had the fall off the cliff last year. I got it. And at times they've been uneven this year. But I do think they're different situations. And I don't think that in a division which they should be competitive all year, that they would make the move in season. But I wouldn't have thought that the Jets would have fired Robert Saleh heading into Week 6. So that's the crazy part about this. You never know when an owner's buttons are going to be pushed and when he feels like he's had enough. It's always hard to break. Look, the one thing, it is interesting because I did have an owner call me. It was very odd. On Monday, there was an owner of a team called me and he's like, so how many firings are we going to get this year? I said, it's the same every year, 6, 7, 8, roughly. And we had this conversation. Who are some of the top candidates? And we're going over this on Monday, and then Tuesday morning, bang. I'm like, that was a weird conversation. Like, I just think it's on owners' minds sometimes, probably more than when we realize.
We have two more instances in the past week of Bill Belichick talking about the Eagles situation. I've said it to you before. He's stalking. Him and LeFou, are stalking this job. I'm convinced that this is where Bill Belichick would like to land, but I think Nick Sirianni's going to give him the big salute and say, no, this thing's getting fixed. I feel very good about how they're going to bounce off this bye. What are your instincts about what you know about this team and maybe what you're hearing around the league?
Well, I would be surprised if they don't play well. It would be really disappointing. I mean, to take a couple weeks off to get your receivers back, yeah, I mean, who do they play this week? They play
the Browns. They're playing a high school team.
Who your Jaden Daniels took care of business against last week. They won 34-13, I think the final score was. Mm-hmm. So if the Eagles come out, and even if they win, Schefter, but it's another one of those grinded out games against a bad Browns team, what are we saying?
Well, look, the one thing that we've seen in the NFL is you just don't know every single week. Like, we've seen more underdogs win this year than ever before. We've seen large underdogs win. So Cleveland's in play. I don't even know what the line on the game is. But
9.
Yeah. Well, I'll just say this. I mean, I can only imagine what the reaction in Philly would be if they lose this game. Boy, oh boy. I don't see it happening, but I didn't see the Giants winning in Seattle last week, right? There are these games I sit with my father. He loves to do these survivor pools, and he got knocked down in week 1, and there's only a few entries left. He's like, one thing I know my survivor this week, if I was alive this week, I'd have the Seahawks. You could take it to the bank. And that's when I knew right then and there that the Giants had
It's the way it works.
But it's amazing. I mean, you say the Eagles should win this game, and yes, they should win this game, but there is the chance that they lose. And if they lose, then that kind of goes back to the initial conversation. I get it. Robert Saleh has not had the success that Nick Sirianni has had, and that's why, Schefter, I'm in a line with you. But the comparison that I can make is a lot of people had the Jets as the team that could come out of the AFC, win that division, maybe make a run in the playoffs. They have the team built for it. We're saying the exact same thing about the Philadelphia Eagles.
But you could say that about a dozen teams in the NFL, right? And they might not be winning as much right now. Is Kyle Shanahan getting fired in San Francisco? Jim Harbaugh in L.A.?
No, but the context, Shanahan's got injuries to deal with. The Eagles obviously had the injuries to deal with, but it's coming off of the collapse of last year. If they come back next week, this Sunday, with their guys back, right? A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Lane Johnson, and they play a similar brand of football, which is uninspiring to maybe untalented football, we're going to say, hey, at some point this has got to turn around or somebody's gone.
Well, but I just don't. I don't know that they're doing that. I don't know that. I'd be surprised. I never rule out anything. Anything in this league is always possible. I'm not looking for them to be reactionary in season. I'm not. Although they did sack Chip Kelly, right before Thanksgiving, if I remember.
No, it was before the last game of the year.
Yeah.
It was Christmas. It was Christmas week.
Yeah, I think you're thinking of San Francisco because didn't he get? that might have been the San Francisco situation.
I was in an airport in Green Bay and I got the text.
Yeah, I've never. How about this one for you? Through 5 weeks of the NFL season, I have never not believed the standings more in a season than I do this year. I do not believe the standings. I do not believe they will hold. I do not believe in a lot of these Cinderella stories that are going on right now, and I may look stupid come Christmas time.
Who specifically don't you believe in?
The Vikings.
Washington? The Vikings.
Oh no, I talked about. I've been scared since the day Jaden Daniels got drafted. And I know you've spoken the same language. I know, and I feel it. I didn't like it. But to me, I'm not believing that the Packers are a last place club. I'm not believing that the Vikings are a first-place club. I'm not believing right now in what I'm seeing that the Seahawks are winning the West. I just think there's a lot going on right now. And also, too, the Commanders could be right there to the end. They're going to be scary. But I don't believe the Eagles are going to be a third-place club.
I believe the Vikings are for real. They're not going to be unbeaten. I do believe that the Seahawks are the favorites in the NFC West. I do believe that Washington is very dangerous with Jaden Daniels. I do believe what we've seen through the first 5 weeks. I do believe. Will it all hold up? No. Is much of it going to hold up? I think what we've begun to see is the real deal. That's what I think this season.
We are going to check back on that, and I'll tell you, I don't want you to be right. I don't want you to be right more than ever, I tell you.
That's fine. I understand that. I mean, that makes sense, but the Vikings defense is very good, and they have a lot of really talented playmakers.
Looks like they have good coaching, too, the Vikings.
Yeah. In the West, the Rams look like, they're trying to win now, but they've got a future, and they've got a lot of injuries, and they've lost key players, and their offensive line has been decimated. I don't know if they're going to rebound. They could, but I don't know if they are. And the 49ers, I have had bad vibes on all off-season into the summer. Like, too many holdouts, hold-ins, disputes, shooting, injuries, just all the stuff that didn't happen in other years seems like it's all come home to roost this year. And it seems like most everybody deals with that at some point or another, and now's the Niners' turn. So I I could be wrong. I don't think they're turning it around to win that division this year. That's what I think. So someone else is winning the West, and it's not the Rams, and I don't think it's going to be the 49ers. So you believe more in the Cardinals or the Seahawks?
We're speaking to Adam Schefter on the Comcast Business Hotline. Shefty, over your years of covering the NFL, have you noticed a trend of when the bye week comes, how it benefits teams? Obviously, the Eagles have an early bye week this year. Or is it just, hey, they may need it when they get it, and the Eagles clearly needed it with all the injuries they've been sustaining?
I think everybody in the NFL would tell you that there's never a bad time for a bye week. Never. Never. But in a perfect world, you'd prefer it later rather than earlier. It's not what the Eagles had. It's the way it goes. You take it. You get your wide receivers and your offensive tackle healthy. You use your bye week to your advantage. That will be to the Eagles' advantage. It would have been great to have a bye in Week 12 when the legs get heavy. It's a long season. Everybody can use a little break. But that's not what the NFL schedule maker decides. So that's what it is. And you, again, boy, I'm going to say this right now. I said it before, but if they don't come out and play a good game, and if they don't find a way to win this game, you guys are going to be real busy Monday morning.
The off season for the Eagles, of course, signing Saquon Barkley almost seems like a no-brainer for teams that want to invest in that. So, but I'll still give Howie credit for doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But Bryce Huff looks like the biggest miss of last year's NFL free agency season. Devin White, a $7.5 million mistake. C.J. Gardner-Johnson has been bad through four games. Through 4 games, and I think he'll rebound. It's not been a good offseason for Howie Roseman.
Well, not so far. I mean, not every move has worked out the way you'd want it to. We'll see how it plays out over time. It's still early. And, again, if Saquon turns into the offensive player of the year, then it's fine anyway.
I think that, Adam, with all due respect, I believe that you and I and Andrew and Connor could all have made the decision to make that move. I consider the going and getting Devin White and Bryce Huff and bringing back a C.J. Gardner-Johnson, those are the moves that create a little more, that require a little more nuance and, honestly, more expertise, and it's not showing at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, they have some holes. This is not a perfect team. They've got flaws, and they have to do some things here to get some things right. And we're 5 games in, and they had a bye week to kind of rest up, self-scout, make some adjustments. And again, what's that? Now you're going forward. We don't know. Big week. Eagles had every week. Big week. No, that you could say every week. But this is a game where they should win by 9 points. Like, that's what they should do here, right? According to Las Vegas, and I don't disagree.
Shefty, last thing before we let you go, kind of an overall NFL question for you, because it's something I asked you back in March or April when this show first started. I think the NFL has a quarterback problem. I don't think there's a stellar quarterback play for what a lot of quarterbacks are being paid. I listened to your podcast, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, where you spoke with owners, or it might have been GMs, that are saying, hey, maybe it's smart to pay these veteran quarterbacks less money instead of going overboard with some of the paydays that these top quarterbacks are getting. Is that something that we can expect a shift in the next couple of years? Obviously, like, Jalen Hurts is locked up. Trevor Lawrence is locked up for some of these teams. But do you expect to see more of that for some of these teams? Like, what does a Brock Purdy get?
Brock Purdy gets in the 50s somewhere.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying that that's an example, but the conversation that was raised to me by somebody that was pretty smart, they're like, I think teams are going to have to start taking a look. Do we want to pay this guy $55+ million? Or do we want to say, okay, let's go sign Baker Mayfield for 7.5, Sam Darnold for 7.5, and take the leftover $50 million and allocate it to a few other players? Like, okay, rather than signing, we saw Jordan Love, Trevor Lawrence sign $55 million deals. Now, those teams were riding with those guys. They were first-round picks, a lot invested. But let's say they didn't. Let's say they said, you know what, Green Bay or Jacksonville said, you know what, I'm going to put that money into Sam Darnold. Like, it's easy to say that because Sam Darnold is shining.
Right.
But you could do Gardner Minshew, too, right? Gardner Minshew at 10. And we're going to take to the 45. We're going to buy a cornerback for 12 and a running back. We're going to buy Saquon Barkley for 15. And we're going to buy a defensive. Like, there are different ways to attack it. And I still think the quarterback is the most important position in all of sports.
Yes.
I don't think I would do that. But I can tell you that there are teams that are asking themselves that question and will ask themselves that question in the future going forward.
Right, because a guy like Trevor Lawrence probably wasn't deserving of the payday, but to your point, they go, we think we have a guy and we don't want to lose him. But now they're probably sitting there going, uh-oh, what do we do?
Again, you could spend that $55 million any way you want. You know, the league is giving you this money, or you have this money to allocate however you want. How do you want to spend it? You know, we all have, $100 in our wallet. Do you want to go spend $100 on, a new tie, or do you want to go take, I'm going to go buy $20 and buy a new pair of socks, and $20 on a pair of underwear, and $20 on lunch, and what do you want to do? Or you want to use it all in one tie?
That's a nice tie that you're buying, $100.
Oh, well,
I just buy the cheap clip-ons, man.
Got Schefter money.
Schefter, you're the man. We appreciate it as always. We'll be talking to you next week, hopefully after an Eagles win.
Or you could use $100 and buy a Philly breakfast cheesesteak sandwich for everybody at the station. You can do that
There you
too.
go.
Damn
from
right, you
Nifty
can do
50s.
that. Schefter, you're the man. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
Take care.
There's Adam Schefter on the Comcast Biz Hotline, brought to you by Landis Block. Create your very own jaw-dropping backyard paradise online at landisbc.com. He made it pretty clear. If the Eagles lose, we got a busy Monday.
We do, but it's not happening.
It's time now for today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
What up, Connor?
All right, boys, I feel like we need to get some aggression out, and I feel like we need to feel good. So we're going to start with the aggression because I know how you guys feel about this guy we're about to hear from. Penn State goes on the road this week, and they play the University of Southern California, which poses a bit of a problem for great Penn State University as far as the travel's concerned.
Yes.
So as far as excuses go, James Franklin's already got him in spades. Here's him talking about the trouble with flying out of the airport to USC.
We cannot fly out of state college, so that was a big part of our discussions with the Big Ten when all this thing got started, is not only are we one of the most northeast schools, but based on runway length, size of plane, weight of plane, fuel on plane, we can't get out of here unless we would stop for fuel.
Oh, the poor Penn State football team has to drive to a bigger airport.
Well, yeah, that part wasn't in there. They have to drive to Harrisburg.
Oh, can I tell you this nonsense? James Franklin, who said that to you people with a straight face? Alabama, Georgia, Clemson. They all do this routinely.
Yeah.
Programs that have accomplished a hell of a lot more than his ever has. I mean, seriously, let's stop with the whining. They do it all the time.
They have to drive a whole hour to the airport,
They have to drive. Some of them drive an hour and a half to get to an airport that can let them do that, or an hour. It's ridiculous.
And oh, by the way, they have to drive on those really big buses.
Oh my gosh, the air-conditioned buses with the Barca loungers and everything.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It's so hard.
And I hear they might be low on the peanuts that you get in the bag on the flight. That's going to be tough to overcome, too. So hopefully Penn State can fight through this week.
That man knows that he was feeding you a line of BS because he coached in the SEC. And then he's trying to spin that to people. Man, excuses.
Yeah, look, I'm not a Penn State fan, clearly. I can't imagine having to hear that every single week.
It's unbelievable.
And it's been going on. How long has he been there?
Nah, too long.
A decade at least now, right?
No. Has it a decade?
Dude,
It's got to be close.
Something around that. All right, there's the anger out. A real quick feel good before we wrap this one up. Brandon Graham's going to hit a milestone this weekend. I don't know if you guys have seen this. He's going to play in his 200th career game for the Eagles. The first defensive player to ever hit that mark.
And he's going to play more than Bryce Huff.
Yeah, he is.
Which is amazing. By the way, James Franklin, 2014 was when he got hired.
Wow, that's amazing.
This is 10 years.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Congratulations. This is year 11.
Year 11.
Wow.
You're right. All right, that was today's headlines with Connor Thomas. Of course, our Adam Schefter interview will be podcasted on the website. We will play the 5 best minutes of it coming up around 9:15. Before that, John Boot Shambi, the voice of ESPN Baseball. He did the play-by-play on our station last night for that fun Phillies game.
He'll be back today.
All right, coming up next, we get to your reactions on today's topics. And John posed a question. I have one answer. But you asked the question, have we felt this way before when it comes to a series? We'll discuss that next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic on this Wednesday morning, Game 4 of the NLDS. Don't worry, if you're doom and gloom, I'm with you. But they have a chance to win, and if they win, they have Game 5 at home with Zach Wheeler on the mound. So, John, I'm with you when you say I don't want to hear people say that it's over.
Because I know what they'll do tomorrow. They'll be the first people. Red October. Let me show you.
Right.
Let me hear. Here I am.
But if anyone
Brendan
thinks
Gunn.
if anyone thinks there's a legitimate shot that they lose today because Ranger Suarez has been not good, and it's not because he stinks, it's because his arm might just be dead for the rest of the season, and you got to rely on a bullpen that can't get outs.
Right.
I get why anybody would be doom and gloom.
Coach Vinny Gallo sends me a
look at the note. Look at
picture.
the note B Gun put on the screen.
There you go. Look, there. Can you see that? His 4-year-old son was playing with one of those like little
word searches,
school word search books.
Yeah.
He's 4.
Yeah.
The secret message you had to find was Ranger.
That's in there.
And he said, "That's an omen. We're going to Game 5." Coach, I'm all with you.
Yeah, even a 4-year-old can figure out Ranger Suarez at this point.
I like any.
I like that. Look, any good omen you can find.
Any good
Let's
omen you can
do it.
find.
And I bet you I could hand that to Brendan Gunn. He wouldn't circle as many Rangers as his 4-year-old son did.
All right.
Everyone's angry today.
So you wrote down on the handy-dandy sheet this morning.
Yes.
A topic suggestion about have we ever felt this way before? Can you please explain? Because I think I know where you're coming from.
And I really don't like that I had this intrusive thought this morning. Trying to deal with intrusive thoughts right now. The idea that when have we been in this position that you can think of where it's gone in our favor?
I have one.
Okay, which one was it?
And
when
it's
was
the
it?
greatest comeback in Flyers franchise history.
Okay, 2010?
When you're down 3-0 to Boston, and then you're down 3-0 in Game 7. But the big problem is that team was borderline happy to be there.
They got in the last day on a shootout.
On a shootout. This team is supposed to be here and supposed to win this series, which makes it even worse.
I don't know that we've ever been in this situation where our teams have really delivered for us. Now, I can go back to 10th grade when the Phillies were down 2-1 in the NLCS and came back to win the National League Championship by winning games 4 and 5.
That was the Houston series when they were still in the National League.
I can go back to that, but I tried to think of when I can go back to. And that was my intrusive thought of the day.
Not many, man.
We don't tend to get rewarded.
We were close with the Sixers against the Hawks. They win Game 6, and then they're up 21 points. Not to bring up any bad memories.
And that is
18 points. Sorry, 21 points was the earlier in the series.
No,
it was 18 points.
The Sixers would be winning today, losing Game 7.
Yes,
we're losing Game 5.
Correct. Yeah, you're right.
But I mean, I look at your 2 lifetimes, and I got to tell you, I'm hard pressed.
When we look dead, we're normally dead.
Yeah, and that's
the
sad.
thing, and that is something that it may feed into some of the people who are absolute loser cowards this morning. It may that be where they're at.
Yeah, we've seen them lose series up, just like last year when they were up a couple times against the Diamondbacks. But
we did.
You're right. Never really seen them come back, except for that Flyers. That's the only example I can think of. And that was an extreme.
And that was a total extreme.
But that's the only one I can think of.
It rarely happens.
Yeah.
So I was just saying is that was my intrusive thought of the day.
All right. One more Rob Thompson question today. So if you were to do, like what? So we all know Real Muto's behind the dish. It's Harper at first. I don't know if it's a lock that stops at second. It should be. But what's your lineup today?
Same thing as Game 1.
With the lefty on the mound.
Yeah, dude.
Man.
You go down with your guys.
I'm telling you, you can't. You're like the biggest black hole in the lineup right now is JT Realmuto.
I'd say 6 through 9 is your
Not
black
JT
hole.
Realmuto. Because he's expected to give you much more.
But I gave you the two for 34,
more.
6 through 9 is horrible.
No, I got you. But he is expected to give you
yes,
so
I
much
agree
more.
With you.
And he has given you nothing, and he gets the golden ticket free pass to
I don't
Willy
think anyone's
Wonka.
giving him that
Yes,
right
he
now.
is. He never gets critiqued. It's people are on complaining about Rojas at bats. When in the first 2 games of the series, Rojas gave you better at bats than 80% of your lineup as far as taking pitches, understanding pitches. And then JT's killing you. So I don't know what you can do with him.
He's been hit twice, so he's been on base 2 times
he's
at
been at
least.
least on base.
Okay, I hope they hit him 4 times. I just that's the only way he's getting on base.
Yeah, it's a
tough.
shame right now.
God,
yeah.
it's brutal.
So I guess you're right, Connor. Maybe it's lineup game 1, or does
I guess it's got to be, right?
Or does he go nuts and he throws out a Weston Wilson today?
No.
Do or die
Buddy,
situation.
if he starts Weston Wilson with this 95-win division champion baseball team season on the line, I'm out on him.
Yeah, but he's not starting him over Alec Boehm.
I don't care, dude.
It's over Brandon Marsh.
Okay, and it's
like I'm
Weston
sorry,
Wilson.
I know I don't like Brandon Marsh.
Yeah, you hate
the
the
baseball
guy.
player. No, I don't like. I have no problem
As a
with the
baseball
guy.
player.
As a baseball player,
He's got a cup of seeds and water over here, and he's going to spill it on.
He's not my favorite. He's a guy that can't hit a high fastball and has horrible approaches at the plate and always has. Strikes out way too much for a guy that does not have the power like a Kyle Schwarber. I hated the trade when it happened, but whatever. Like if he did not play today, I wouldn't say, wow, desperation move. If he didn't play today, I'd go, all right, it's a lefty. He can't hit lefties.
You go to Weston Wilson in an elimination game, you absolutely are saying, I'm just grasping at
All right, and then
straws.
can you blame him? Can you, honest
Yeah,
question.
I would say with a 95-win team, yes, I could.
Okay, so if he said to you, hey, John, listen,
Because he tells us
I was
that they're
listening.
fine.
I was listening to you on the radio today.
That'd be good. I would love to hear that.
You mean to tell me it's a bad move for me to bench a guy who does he have a hit yet this series, Brandon Marsh? No, he doesn't have a hit yet.
He
this
does not.
series.
Him and JT.
Who can't hit left-handed pitching to save his life. And I need some sort of spark, so let me go with a guy that has provided it at times. And look, we're talking Weston Wilson, Brandon Marsh, so it's not like either one of them is going to change the game for you.
What
But
I would say,
if he explained that to you, would you call him crazy?
I'd say, Rob, you're the person who tells me, steady, stay the course. This is what we do. Guys work themselves out of these things. Baseball's a crazy game. It'll all work out. You know, that's his message all year long.
Yeah.
And then under panic, elimination, all of a sudden that message is thrown out the window.
Or
Sorry, Rob.
All right, then I'll throw this one by you. If it's not the panic move that you guys are calling it with Weston Wilson, it's what you did yesterday. It's Hayes over Marsh.
Yeah, I never want to see Hayes again. Ever again.
Welcome.
And I hope his kidneys are very healthy.
Yes, I'm pro-kidney here.
Nobody is wishing him ill.
Connor wants his kidneys.
I never
No,
want
I've got one working one. I'm good.
I never want to see him again. I never want to see him play again.
That's a conversation that I think is a little unfair for when this season does come to an end. We'll get to that. But, like, the thing with this is, too, if you start Marsh, there's nothing saying you can't pinch hit Weston Wilson in the 3rd inning. There's nothing to say you can. Like,
well, then that's different. That's a little different situation.
exactly. Like, you're going to manage this game with
then
your back against the
why
wall.
not reverse?
What do you mean, why not reverse?
Where Weston Wilson starts and then Marsh comes in.
Because Marsh is the better defensive outfielder. Because
By
Marsh is
far.
the more proven
no,
player. Because Marsh had a great NLCS last year, and you believe he can do this. Has Weston Wilson had an at-bat in the postseason?
But then Austin Hayes. Like the same thing. Like if we're doing the righty-lefty thing,
we're not.
odds are Quintana's the lefty, so you would start a righty.
No, screw righty-lefty. Your season's on the line. So you're putting the 9 best players over 162 out there, and you are letting the chips fall where they may. And you're going to manage your ass off later in the game.
The organization has never told you that Brandon Marsh is one of your better players over 162.
With the guys you currently have available, they have.
I think they have.
But they've never.
Did they go out and upgrade when they had an opportunity?
They got what they believed. Remember, you told me that. I didn't even know the Topps said that. They went out and believed they got a starting left fielder.
They thought they had an everyday left fielder. They didn't.
Brandon Marsh has batted 192 against left-handed pitching this year and has had 90 plate appearances because they don't trust him.
Sounds like he's due.
I don't need to see him in the lineup today. All right, coming up next, we get more of your reaction. Don't forget, John Shamby's going to be joining us coming up at 9:05. We
Just
have our
call him
5
the
best
Boog.
minutes of Adam Schefter. I just want to be polite at first.
No, call him Boog. He loves Boog.
I'll call him Boog. It's 97.5, The Fanatic.
Now,
Called. A lot of people listen to the station and like show-on-show crime. We have in-show fighting.
Oh, yes.
Our man, Brendan Gunn, who does a great job as the associate producer of Kincade Salciunas.
He does. He is the second best guy in the Philadelphia media from Strathaven.
I would say this, not a foxhole guy.
No.
I would never trust him in my foxhole.
No. He'd be the double agent in the movie that you can't figure out who the double agent is.
Yeah.
It's Brendan Gunn.
Temple alum, wears Villanova gear because he's a fan of them. But, he's...
Because he grew up in Delco.
Wouldn't be surprised.
I grew up in Delco.
Which also means he's
Notre
probably
Dame
got
fan.
he's got the Notre Dame. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got the calf tattoo, the Notre Dame fighting Irish calf tattoo.
That's why he's a Notre Dame fan. Well, I grew up in Delco.
Exactly.
So my family was Notre Dame fans. God, I hate that.
And he is saying that the Phillies season is over. However, he's got tickets to Game 5 and is excited that if they win the night, he's excited for the chance to go.
I'm telling you this. I am going to find out his section, and I am going to send 40,000 people to visit him, to heckle him.
Why just 40?
I will make sure that everybody in that stadium knows his picture. It'll be on wanted posters.
Well, it already is at Citizens Bank Park for other reasons.
Because he crawled under once and got caught. I am going to absolutely make sure he is exposed as a complete fraud.
Wow.
Phillies fan.
Wow. You can't go fraud.
But when you say whoa. When you say season's over and the series isn't even over, and then you're excited to have tickets to Game 5, I'm telling you, I hope that there will be some like-minded individuals that will just make him really enjoy his experience on Friday.
15 of those 40,000 are feeling the exact same way Brendan's feeling.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. I believe
I'm sure it's a big number,
I believe
though.
a portion of our fan base always acts like that, and I do believe that. So maybe like 1 out of 5, 15%, something like that. But not the majority of fans. The majority of fans can't. If you conduct yourself like that, God, you're so soft.
Yep.
Man, you're a soft fan.
All right, before we get back to the phones, the text line, the phone line, I'm sorry to throw you under the, not throw you under the bus, put you in the spot here, John. Do you still have that Hembo stat that you told me about earlier? Connor, you got to listen to this. I'm going to buy time for John to find it.
Just buy it. I'll find it.
It was about what the bullpen has done this 3 games.
Has it been good?
No.
How about this? It is Phillies relievers have allowed more runs this postseason in 3 games than they did all of last postseason in 13 games. The Phillies bullpen giving up 13 runs in 3 games. They gave up 12 runs in 13 games the entire last year.
That's horrible.
If you need to know, if there is a the coroner comes in and does an autopsy on the 2024 Phillies postseason.
Yep.
That is the murderer. Every team that's won games in the postseason has required their bullpen to save them in some way, shape, or form.
Which is why I was afraid of the Brewers, because of what that bullpen has.
Connor brought it up earlier. This would be one of those like murder mystery shows where the twist. Nobody expected the bullpen to be the Achilles heel. The bullpen has been absolutely, by the way, they're approaching historical atrociousness for a National League divisional series. They may end up being could be today, the worst ever. That is your villain.
Yeah.
Yes.
Number one villain.
And that's why I watch the regular season the way that I do, because you never know.
No, you're right.
The craziest stuff happens. No one ever predicted this. No one ever would have, and it could be the reason they end up going home. And you couldn't have changed anything because you trusted these guys. It just is what it is, and it sucks, but that's weird playoff baseball.
Yeah, we can have a whole conversation for a segment about Austin Hayes, and, deservedly so, but, man, the bullpen's been so bad, and that was something that you felt comfortable with, and they got better at. But bringing in Estevez, they got better. Like, you already felt, if they didn't get Estevez, I would still say, man, I really like this bullpen going into these playoffs. They then add Estevez, and you're going, oh my God, it's going to be the best bullpen out of any of the teams in the playoffs. And they've just been horrible. That's a horrible stat to hear. Thanks a lot,
It's
John.
terrible.
Let's go to Rick in Easton. Rick, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Gentlemen, is it impossible? No. Is it improbable? Yes. I'm a very positive person. I'm 66, guys. Got to keep that in mind. I was positive that Philadelphia was going to win all 7 rings. In fact, I thought the Sixers in 77 and 81, the Eagles in 2005 and 1980, and the Flyers in 1980 were going to win championships as well. What I don't understand is, and you just touched on regular season versus playoffs, their record in Citizens Bank Park. Are people really paying attention? Or are they just wearing red-collar glasses? And it's not just the fans calling in, the regulars. It's the talk show hosts, too, that are like, it looks like they're holding on to false hopes. Do you know what the Philadelphia Phillies record has been in real big games in the postseason in Citizens Bank Park? They got no hit by the Astros. They lost the last two games in the Diamondbacks, and I didn't think they were going to win either of those games. I really didn't. I didn't like the mojo.
Wait, whoa.
Congrats, bud.
Rick,
you're the only. You're
Rick,
the only.
Rick, I'm
you're
going to tell you
the
this.
only person.
Rick, Rick, I'm going to speak now. You are so full of crap. You did not think that the Diamondbacks were coming in and winning Game 6 and Game 7. No, Rick, you did not.
I told you.
You did not. You didn't tell us that, Rick. You didn't tell us that.
I'm telling you, I did not feel confident.
You did not tell us that they were losing Game 6 and 7. You are full of it, Rick. Rick, you're full of it. You're full of it.
Can I ask you a question? What did you see in April and June?
Rick, no, you can't. No. We're not going past your little nonsense there. You did not go into Game 6 and Game 7 last year of the NLCS saying to anyone that the Phillies were going to lose that series. You're full of it, and now you're trying to do the pompous, like, well, if you would just listen to me, people. You know, Rick, come on. You're bringing BS here.
That's the one thing you're going to jump on after you heard it.
Yes, because that's a big thing, Rick. You're acting like you knew it. You act like you knew it last year. Come on, Rick. Just be one of us. Don't be Nostradamus.
I also saw the Phillies win a World Series at Citizens Bank Park.
He did not, seriously.
In 2008.
And by the way, there's no way Rick was doing, well, before Game 6 and 7. Don't get excited for the World Series, folks. They're out of it.
Coming up next, the voice of Sunday Night Baseball, but baseball on ESPN, John Shambi.
And Cubs broadcaster.
He was on with Mike Missanelli yesterday to preview Game 3. We get to talk to him after Game 3. I wish it was reversed.
We'll hear him today, too.
We will. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Again, thank you to our friends at Nifty 50s for bringing in some incredible food this morning, which put a smile on my face because I desperately needed it. So make sure you check out Nifty 50s. The breakfast game was something, I'll be honest, I was not aware of until they started bringing it in last year. And I said, oh, whoa. I thought this was just like the cheese fry joint. You know, the late night cheese fry
and the
joint.
milkshakes.
And the milkshake.
Right.
Yeah, but, you know, there was a location in the Northeast not far from my house. So it was like a late night.
So that was your spot to hit?
Yeah, every once in a while. I didn't know about the breakfast game.
Oh, you did the Shack. I'm sorry. I was unfamiliar with your game.
Yeah. The breakfast game has been absolutely tremendous. All right, John Shambi, Boog, is going to be joining us in a couple of minutes, and then we have our 5 best minutes of Adam Schefter that we will replay for you guys. But let's check out the phone lines at 610-632-0975. It is Game 4. Season is still alive. Let's go to cousin Ryan. Ryan, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
What's up, Ryan?
Hey, boys. How you making out?
Good, buddy.
We're here.
I want to start with, hey, Rick, who called last. You're like arguing with the Delco woman. You're wrong, and you'll never admit it.
And it's funny, Ryan, I've been talking to Rick for a long time doing this. And
you warned me.
I literally said off the air during the previous commercial break to John and Connor, be ready for Rick's call. Rick's got a tone and an I told you so mentality.
And I said to him, I've never sensed that from Rick.
Whammo.
Yeah, he sounds like an ex-wife. So listen, this lineup needs to go back to where it was with Brandon Marsh and Bryson Stott, regardless of lefty or righty, and you got to pull out all the stops because your season is on the line. And if you guys don't go after it like the rest of the Philadelphia fan base does, we will be so mad until you come back to spring training. It's not even going to be funny.
Oh, well, and a lot of those guys won't come back.
Yard 3 times. JT better go yard 3 times, or he better get hit in the face to get on base. I don't care.
JT's stealing money.
Right now he is.
Money.
Right now he is. But here's the other thing that annoys me a little bit. Brandon Moore started this season off so hot, and then Rob Thompson started to go in this lefty-righty and take him in, take him out. Give the man his due and let him earn that money because he wants to be a dog.
Well,
he wants to get out there and play.
Well, they did give him a chance to face lefties, and he batted 192 against.
Not enough. I honestly don't believe that they were committed to it enough.
Thank you.
That's my.
They weren't committed.
It didn't seem committed.
And that's fair. And thanks for the call, cousin Ryan. But I'll also say in his career, it's not much better. He's a .216 hitter against lefties. So, it's not much better. All right. Let's head to the Comcast Business Hotline. Every day is a big day. Let Comcast Business help you move forward with what's next. So cool that we were able to listen to this man on our station last night doing the play-by-play with Doug Glanville for the Phillies-Mets game. Unfortunately, the result didn't necessarily go our way, and we hope that changes today. But he joins us now on the Comcast Business Hotline. John Boog Shambi. Boog, what's going on? Good morning.
He's got it.
How we doing? You guys all right?
Oh, yeah, everything's very calm here.
Right. No, I know.
As you understand.
Yeah.
I'm one of yous. You know that.
Yes,
so.
he is.
Yeah.
I know.
Explain that to the people, too, though. I mean, because you understand the mentality here.
Yeah.
And you've worked in a lot of you've worked in markets where that mentality doesn't exist and where that mentality is is every day of the week.
Yeah, it's intense. I was born there. My father's side of the family got their hooks in me, even though I moved to New York when I was 7. I stayed Phillies fan and everything. My grandfather was head of construction for the Vet.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that, Mike Schmidt, Tug McGraw, that was probably the highlight of my childhood. Loved Andrew Toney, favorite Sixer ever. And then I would say probably when the Eagles lost to the Raiders was probably the saddest moment. And my mom would tell you the most difficult day of parenting for my entire childhood.
Oh, you're one of us. I absolutely love that. Now, Boog, because you're one of us, obviously this is a little bit of a different question, but you're also national now, right?
Yeah.
You know this team inside and out, but a lot of us are going, oh, here we go again. How much does it surprise you, a guy that has to cover the league, bounce all over from city to city every single week, when you see this star-studded lineup do almost nothing twice now in 3 games?
It doesn't surprise me. I know this is really, really hard, and this is where I get to swoop in and be clinical national guy.
Right.
But, like, guys, it's baseball. If Bryce Harper or any of them don't hit for 2 games during the regular season, you don't think twice about it. I mean, step back and take a deep breath and contemplate that the Diamondbacks got into the World Series last year as a 6th seed with 84 wins. I mean, we continue to see the randomness of this postseason. So if you're going to sit there and try and litigate why isn't our good team playing good over the course of 3 games, I can't help you. I just can't. And I know that doesn't make you feel any better because you want them to win, but yes, I think the Phillies are better than the Mets. Yes, I think that the Mets can win this series. What do you? I don't know what do you want me to say? It's the problem in the conversation, in my opinion, becomes this, guys. In my opinion, for what you guys do is when you take a 4 or 5 game series or whatever and turn it into this team is flawed. Right. That the results said that the team is flawed. I mean, look, no team's perfect, right? But man, random stuff. I'll tell you this right now. I do games for the Cubs, do 130 games for the Cubs. Don't kid yourself. If you put the Cubs in this series with the Cubs pitching, the Cubs could beat the Phillies' butts 3 out of 5 in a random 3 out of 5 series. They just could.
Do you think that the Phillies' approach at the plate is what a usual championship club has?
So here's what I would say, though, is that now we're getting into personnel. So the Phillies had the 6th highest chase rate in the majors this year. But from August 1st on, they had the highest chase rate in the majors. That's a problem, man. This is a strike-to-ball league, meaning the way this league works is you get swing and miss by making pitches start as strikes or look like strikes, and they turn into balls, and you get guys chase to swing and miss or chase for crappy contact. I do think that even though they score a lot, the high chase rate is problematic at this time of year. I don't think there's any question, and I don't think that that's something that's not. I don't believe that's teachable in any marked way. You're not taking a group of chasers and turning them into non-chasers by talking to them. I think that that's more a skill set aligned with power, with et cetera, contact. I think it falls in line with that, if that makes sense.
So. What do you do?
What I'm saying is that if you don't like that they're chasing, you need to get different players.
Right, and I was about to ask you, what does that mean for the season? I don't want to do the whole if the season ends tonight, which I don't want to do that because they still very well could win, and then it's Game 5 at Citizens Bank Park with Zach Wheeler. But, not only do you have your big boppers that are the problem, 6 through 9 in this order, they're 2 for 34. Even the guys that aren't.
That's the bigger problem.
Yeah, they're not the home run hitters, but they're the guys that are supposed to make contact, and they're not even making contact.
I think that's the bigger problem to me. I mean, look, if Schwarber, Harper, Turner, Castellanos do anything, it'll be, that's hard. But I think that there are even times when those guys are pretty good and 5 through 9 can feel kind of empty. And that's where I do, worry about them a little bit. And there's no question they got to get, look, the other night, that Stott triple was huge.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see if he does anything different with a lefty. Does he give Stott a chance to play? I'm curious what they end up doing with it facing another lefty. But I will tell you, I watched Quintana in the wild card series against the Brewers, and he was excellent.
What's more shocking to you, what's going on with the Phillies bats in this series, or what the Phillies bullpen has done?
I would say probably the bullpen, to be honest. That's a good bullpen, and it just hasn't delivered the way you thought. So I would really look. The way the game works. I mean, the resumes of the offense is certainly greater than the resumes of the bullpen. But I just think from a consistency standpoint, that in baseball, guys can go over 2 or 3 game stretches, and you don't even think twice about it. But in the pen, you're not quite used to that so much multiple outings. I thought it would be a little more stabilized. But I also tell you this, I mean, however you guys feel about your bullpen, I've talked to enough Mets fans, and I understand it's not exactly like the bullpen doors open up on the Mets side, and they're like, "Yeah, come on in, guys."
Yeah. Boog, listen, so you just mentioned you wonder what they do with the left-handed pitcher on the mound today in Quintana, and Stott didn't play yesterday. I'm curious to get your thoughts on this. We talked about this earlier. Rob Thompson is a manager that's very, steady over 162 games. We didn't see much tinkering. We saw a lot of the same lineups. Game 2, he benches his all-star third baseman for at least half the game. Game 3, Bryson Stott wasn't platooning all season long. All of a sudden, he sits him against the left-handed pitcher. Was that a right move for Rob Thompson to do, or was that something he shouldn't have done because it's not something he did all year?
I think it was fine to do, and honestly, so when I came in with the Cubs in September, that was already being talked about, that I had people say to me that they felt like in the playoffs that Sosa would play second and Hayes would play left. So it was already sort of being talked about. Okay. So, I think you got to have, platoon advantage is real. Like, what guys hit right versus left is real. And of all the things we talk about that we think are repeatable, platoon advantage is usually pretty repeatable. So that it's something you like Austin Hayes hits lefties. Didn't last night, get it. But in his career, that's what he does. He hits lefties. So I think it's fine. I don't know that I feel as though there's anything Rob Thompson has done, in any market way that, and I don't know what he should do tonight. That again, if there's subtle things, but their big boys got to come through. And I mean, you guys know how this works. You guys are going to be on eggshells, and if Schwarber hits one 7,000 feet on the first pitch of the game, everybody's going to exhale.
I didn't know if you knew this or not, but you hit the lottery last night. You've been made the president of baseball operations for a franchise. Okay. And they've said, Boog, we need you to hire a manager. Are you hiring somebody? Tell me about what the candidate looks like, the guy you want to hire. Sort of age range, old school mentality, new school mentality. What would you prefer? You watch all these teams in the league. Is there any science to it? And if you had to make a choice, what would your personal choice be?
Wow. It's a great question, and I think a couple of things. The first part is I do think that if you really wanted to run well, I think that the manager and the general manager got to have synergy and be on the same page. I think, in today's world, that's pretty crucial. I start with, look, you're going to see more and more with the data and the new school and the analytics. It's just real, and it's changed the game in ways even from the old school guys. That said, I still think managing culture, managing people is the main part about it. And it's not always easy to identify it. So, I mean, look, I personally think, the Cubs changed managers, won the exact same amount of games with basically the same amount of same group of players. I think Craig Counsell's as good as it gets. I really do. I think he's a guy that played, he has credibility, and then also has the ability to go in a clubhouse, talk to guys, good communicator, and he understands the modern game. So I do think you got to have some concept of that stuff. I do. I think in today's world, you have to be able to separate. One of my least favorite phrases is you can make numbers say whatever you want them to say. Absolutely not. If you're smart, you understand what the noise is and what isn't. And I think that the good managers understand what the noise is and what good information is.
Boog, we appreciate the time, man. I know you got another game to get ready for today. And
it'll be on our station.
Yep, and we appreciate you for gracing our station with your voice. Thank you so much for that.
Thanks for asking me, fellas. I really appreciate it.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
Boog.
There he is, Boog Sciambi on the Comcast Business Hotline. All right.
Named by, he worked on a morning show in Miami, and his name was John Sciambi. And the host of the show literally knew the old Oriole.
Yeah.
Boog Sciambi. Just started to call him Boog. And it stuck.
Good
That's
for
great.
him. Good for him. All right. You want to play the 5 best minutes of Schefter now?
Why not? Right?
Because it'll take us a little late to the commercial break.
All right, well, then maybe we don't.
So we'll do our 5 best minutes of Adam Schefter coming up in the next segment. What do we have on the text line, Connor? We haven't checked the text line in a while because we've been busy and we've been taking some calls, hearing the voice of the people. But, of course, the phone line and the text line are the same number. It's 610-632-0975. What are the people saying about our fightings today, Connor?
I've partially agreed with some texts. I've disagreed with some texts, but we have one that I completely agree with. This is the only guy who's got it right so far today. Mike from Phoenixville checks in and says, if you think the Phillies will lose tonight, you don't know Philly sports. If you're a true fan, you'll know that they win tonight so they can come home to losing game.
I told John this story earlier today. So the great Ray Dunn was supporting the station yesterday by coming out to the watch party. He was supporting the station, not Corona. He was supporting the radio station.
Well, he may have supported Corona too.
He sure did. And he said something like, "Oh man,
let me give the exact thing because I had different people reaching out.
Oh no, I'm not talking about that. We'll get to no. We got to get to. We might bring Ray in for that.
Yeah, I think we can bring Ray in for that.
No, what I was going to get to is Ray said something like, "Man, if they lose tomorrow, blah blah, pain." Blah. I said, "No, dude. I know we're close in age, but that's not pain. Pain is winning tomorrow and losing Friday."
Yeah, Wheeler gives up 6.
Or they lose one. Do I have to say the score?
Oh, no.
I saw it in 11.
Don't. That's
what I'm saying.
That would be completely. Pain would be losing it in 5.
Yes.
This would be like euthanasia.
Yeah.
Losing today.
That
would be
5.
And it is. But it's weird how we all different process sports grief.
Yeah.
There are absolute villains among us, like Brendan Gunn. And then there are people like Ray Dunn who looks at it one way, you look at it another way. If Ray's in the building, get him in here.
Yeah, Ray, come in here right this second.
Because Ray doesn't realize that he did nothing wrong.
He did nothing wrong.
But he created a stir in my old neighborhood.
Which is a neighborhood you don't want to create a stir in.
Yes.
Ray, sit down. We got to talk to you.
Ray did nothing wrong, and I've had his back on this completely because people aren't reading something in context.
Yes.
You tweeted something yesterday.
Say hello, Ray.
Hi,
hello.
Ray. Yeah, and it's created a little stir in my old neighborhood where you were yesterday.
Oh.
You said good Barnaby's cheesesteak egg rolls.
Correct. They were delicious.
Bad basically everything else.
Yes, the Phillies were an atrocity.
You didn't put the Phillies in it. So people are thinking
that you're ripping
people are
Barnaby's.
thinking you're ripping
Let
Barnaby's.
me be very clear. Let me speak directly to this camera that I don't know is on. I love the Barnaby's in Havertown. I had a tremendous time. Thanks to our friends at Corona for a wonderful, wonderful watch party.
I said, Ray Dunn's welcome in my neck of the woods where I grew up anytime, and he would never. I know exactly what you meant, but people going, dude, why is your boy taking shots at Barnaby?
I apologize again.
You understand, though, now, when you hear the...
Correct. I understand if you've never, ever met me, looking at my Twitter and assuming that I'm ripping something that's not baseball might happen. If you know me, look at my Twitter.
Right.
It's just about baseball.
And
good.
And a lot of people are doing the For You tab, right? So they see it this morning.
Right.
Yes, and so it comes up. Good, Barnaby's cheesesteak egg rolls. Bad, basically everything
And you
else.
know people don't read timestamps.
No,
they just see you tweeting that out.
I want to be very clear. I'll say it again. Barnaby's in Havertown, you did a tremendous job.
You don't want the Delco mob coming after
you. The Coronas were delicious. The egg rolls were delicious. The baseball stunk. That's
no
what was
Delco
bad.
mob, Andrew.
Yeah, sure.
There is no such thing.
That's what they want you to think.
All right, coming up next, our thoughts on Game 5. 4. Hey, maybe that means they get to a Game 5.
I love it.
Our thoughts on Game 4 and our 5 best minutes of Adam Schefter right here, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
On Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Momentarily, we will play our 5 best minutes from our conversation with Adam Schefter. But real quick, from ESPN, Jeremy Fowler has a little story.
He does.
Changes to the Eagles lineup are on the table as 2-2 Philly emerges from its bye week. One position to watch, rookie Cooper DeJean taking over nickel corner duties from veteran Avonte Maddox. That's a move I'm expecting, barring new developments. DeJean, a second-rounder with first-round talent, got off to a slow start due to a preseason injury, but is considered all caught up with Vic Fangio's scheme. I'm told multiple defensive positions were up to discussions over the past week due to a defense that ranks 30th in yards per play, allowing 6. The shakeup began in earnest Tuesday when the team released linebacker Devin White. So DeJean could be starting on Sunday, and maybe there's more to come. I don't know what else is to come other than Bryce Huff not starting.
I've also been told, in a follow-up to that, when I saw it, I had sent a message out to somebody going, maybe people in the building didn't like are you still gaming, bud? You still playing Fortnite, bud?
Dude, that was
in the middle of a game that didn't go over well. I have a feeling someone within the Eagles press corps will be writing about it at some point.
Okay.
That maybe that was part of this also is taking things seriously. There may be a coach who was extremely annoyed when that was heard.
Makes sense.
Well, the good news is we didn't have to freak out about Cooper DeJean 4 weeks into his professional career about maybe being terrible.
That's good.
And I don't
Good
expect – you know what, though, is that like with Cooper, seriously, Connor, like to me, I don't know about you guys, I want to see him out there. I want to see him balling. And I expect a young guy's going to get exploited at times and everything. But if I see the tools and I see the instincts look pretty good, I'm going to feel good about it. I just want to see him have a chance.
Now, you hear that. What's the one other spot? Is it Jordan Davis? Like Milton Williams starts, but Jordan Davis comes in?
No, I'd imagine it's going to be in the defensive backfield.
I think it's in the backfield.
Because they rotate. The line rotates
it's in the defensive
regardless.
backfield as well.
So see if you want to do something different in the slot. If it's going to be Cooper DeJean, or if you want to do something different on the outside and put Quinyon Mitchell in a different spot.
Mitchell and Slay. They're not. That's not changing.
It is, unless you want to get someone else on the field or do a rotation. Do you try something else at safety with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson? I don't think there's anything you can do with the defensive line.
Okay. All right. Here's our 5 best minutes from earlier today with Adam Schefter. Shefty, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
All right, Adam, big news out of New York yesterday. Robert Saleh gets fired. And, of course, we always turn things into an Eagles discussion. So I'll ask you straight up, if the Jets can do it, could the Eagles do it? Or is this 2 totally different situations?
I think it's different. Robert Saleh had not gotten his team to a Super Bowl. Robert Saleh had not won consistently. I know the Eagles had fall off the cliff last year. I got it. And at times they've been uneven this year, but I do think they're different situations. And I don't think that in a division which they should be competitive all year, that they would make the move in season, but I wouldn't have thought that the Jets would have fired Robert Saleh heading into week 6. So that's the crazy part about this. You never know when an owner's buttons are going to be pushed and when he feels like he's had enough. It's always hard to break. Look, the one thing, it is interesting because I did have an owner call me. It was very odd. On Monday, there was an owner of a team called me and he's like, so how many firings are we going to get this year? I said, it's the same every year, 6, 7, 8, roughly. And we had this conversation. Who are some of the top candidates? And we're going over this on Monday. And then Tuesday morning, bang. I'm like, that was a weird conversation. Like, I just think it's on owners' minds sometimes, probably more than what we realize.
We have 2 more instances in the past week of Bill Belichick talking about the Eagles situation. I've said it to you before. He's stalking. Him and LeFou are stalking this job. I'm convinced that this is where Bill Belichick would like to land, but I think Nick Sirianni's going to give him the big salute and say, no, this thing's getting fixed. I feel very good about how they're going to bounce off this bye. What are your instincts about what you know about this team and maybe what you're hearing around the league?
Well, I would be surprised if they don't play well. It would be really disappointing. I mean, take a couple weeks off to get your receivers back. Yeah, I mean, who do they play this week? They play
the Browns. They're playing a high school team.
Who your Jaden Daniels took care of business against last week. They won 34-13, I think the final score was. Mm-hmm. So if the Eagles come out, and even if they win, Shefty, but it's another one of those grinded out games against a bad Browns team, you know, what are we saying?
Well, look, the the one thing that we've seen in the NFL is you just don't know every single week. Like, we've seen more underdogs win this year than ever before. We've seen large underdogs win. So Cleveland's in play. I don't even know what the line on the game is. But 9. Yeah. Well, I'll just say this. I mean, I can only imagine what the reaction in Philly would be if they lose this game. Boy, oh boy. I don't see it happening, but I didn't see the Giants winning in Seattle last week, right? There are these games I sit with my father. He loves to do these survivor pools, and he got knocked out in week 1, and there's only a few entries left. He's like, one thing I know my survivor this week, if I was alive this week, I'd have the Seahawks. You could take it to the bank. And that's when I knew right then and there that the Giants had
It's the way it works.
But it's amazing. I mean, you say the Eagles should win this game, and yes, they should win this game, but there is the chance that they lose. And if they lose, then that kind of goes back to the initial conversation. I get it. Robert Saleh has not had the success that Nick Sirianni has had, and that's why, Schefter, I'm in a line with you. But the comparison that I can make is a lot of people had the Jets as the team that could come out of the AFC, win that division, maybe make a run in the playoffs. They have the team built for it. We're saying the exact same thing about the Philadelphia Eagles.
But you could say that about a dozen teams in the NFL, right? And they might not be winning as much right now. Is Kyle Shanahan getting fired in San Francisco? Jim Harbaugh in L.A.?
No, but the context. Shanahan's got injuries to deal with. The Eagles obviously had the injuries to deal with, but it's coming off of the collapse of last year. If they come back next week, this Sunday, with their guys back, right? A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Lane Johnson, and they play a similar brand of football, which is uninspiring to maybe untalented football, we're going to say, hey, at some point this has got to turn around or somebody's gone.
Well, but I don't know that they're doing that. I don't know that. That again, I'd be surprised. I never rule out anything. Anything in this league is always possible. I'm not looking for them to be reactionary in season. I'm not. Although they did sack Chip Kelly.
The off season for the Eagles, of course, signing Saquon Barkley almost seems like a no-brainer for teams that want to invest in that. But I'll still give Howie credit for doing it. But Bryce Huff looks like the biggest miss of last year's NFL free agency season. Devin White, a $7.5 million mistake. C.J. Gardner-Johnson has been bad through 4 games. Through 4 games, and I think he'll rebound. It's not been a good offseason for Howie Roseman.
Well, not so far. I mean, not every move has worked out the way you'd want it to. We'll see how it plays out over time. It's still early. And again, if Saquon turns into the offensive player of the year, then it's fine anyway.
I think that, Adam, with all due respect, I believe that you and I and Andrew and Connor could all have made the decision to make that move. I consider the going and getting Devin White and Bryce Huff and bringing back a C.J. Gardner-Johnson, those are the moves that require a little more nuance and, honestly, more expertise, and it's not showing at the moment.
Well, again, they have some holes. This is not a perfect team. They've got flaws. And they have to do some things here to get some things right. And we're 5 games in, and they had a bye week to kind of rest up, self-scout. And again, this is a game where they should win by 9 points. Like, that's what they should do here, right? According to Las Vegas, and I don't disagree.
All right, Schefty's taking the 9 points. He thinks the Birds cover the spread. And if not, we got problems, man.
Oh, it's going to be bad if it doesn't.
But hopefully we're in a good mood tomorrow.
Well, it'll be before Game 2 of the NLCS. So we'll be breaking down the big Eagles win, Game 1 of the NLCS.
Yes.
Getting ready for Game 2.
That will be a great Philadelphia to be in. Hopefully we're in that one.
Hopefully it's not the parallel universe.
Yeah, I'm really hoping it. So John asked me when we had Schefty there, how did Ranger pitch against the Mets?
Yeah, and some of it's good.
Yeah, some of it.
This season he pitched well against the Mets.
Did he?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He did.
He did. And he went 2-0 with an ERA of 2.30 in 3 starts. But the problem is, one of those was in May, one of those was in June, and those were both better starts, even though actually the one in September wasn't
that bad at all.
They lost 6-3, but he went 5 innings, allowed 2 earned runs on 5 hits.
If he gives us...
I'm taking that, dude.
I will take that to the bank right now. 5 innings, 2 earned runs?
Absolutely.
With a guy that seems to have, like, dead arm, and that was one of his better starts that entire month, except for the earlier start against the Marlins.
I'm in.
You take that. So he's pitched well against them this year. But what Ranger Suarez is he? 508, boys. 508. We'll find out pretty early on how the curveball is looking. Remember, Topper said he was around 93, 94 in the simulated game.
We'll know by 5:28.
We're counting down the hours. All right. That's right, because the Phillies are on the road, so they bat first. Hopefully it's a long first inning for the Fightins offensively. Coming up next, we got the Kincade Salciunas Key 3 presented by Von C. Our final thoughts on today's game before we hand things over to the Mike Missanelli Show. No Mikey missed today. It's Bill Colarulo and Amy Fadul, and, of course, the great Ray Dunn. We'll be back right here, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Tyrone Johnson.
Right now, the Eagles.
.47 on this Wednesday morning. Game 4, NLDS. I was just told by Connor Thomas that Bill Colarulo, Amy Fadul, and Ray Dunn are having a spirited pre-show meeting. I think they're breaking a rule. Are they breaking the rule?
Yeah,
they're doing the show before the show.
They're doing the show before the show. Be prepared for 10 o'clock.
And Ray Dunn is absolutely 6 texts now. That Ray Dunn is welcome anytime in Delco, and he will no longer have his license plate on the screeners.
Oh, that's good.
By the cops in that area.
Yes, that's good.
So Ray is in good graces. Everybody back to loving Ray and Delco.
All right, real quick before we get to as he celebrates.
He better watch.
On.
They were serious?
Real quick before we get to the key 3.
Yes.
So yesterday I gave you the numbers for Mania against the Phillies batters. And
you did.
You would have thought that the Phillies would have done something offensively.
Correct.
Here are Quintana's numbers against some of the guys you expect to see in the lineup today. Castellanos, 51 at-bats against them because they're in the same division. 13 for 51, so 255 average.
That's not bad.
Does have a triple, 2 home runs, 7 ribbies, 10 Ks, though. Schwarber, 21 at-bats. He's 7 for 21, so that's a 333 average, a double, and a home run. Trey Turner, 5 for 20 with a double.
That's not bad either.
Real Muto, 4 for 17 with a home run. Bryce Harper, 4 for 16, so just 250, but does have a double and a home run to his credit. Bohm, 2 for 13 against the left. How about yo boy Johan Rojas? 5 for 9.
5 for 9.
He's a 556 hitter against Quintana.
Okay.
Sosa 3 for 9 with a double. If we see him today, I mentioned already Marsh and Stott both 0 for 2 in their careers against Quintana. And for the Weston Wilson, should he get a shot, guys, myself included, 0 for 6.
Nope.
In his career against
That would be
West.
the ultimate panic move.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate panic move if you started Weston.
By the way, in case you were wondering, Garrett Stubbs is 0 for 2 in his career.
No, I'm not. DJ AAA can just spin the tune.
Austin Hayes 1 for 1 with the double.
No. No.
Think about it.
No.
All right, it's time now for the Kincade Salciunas Key 3. Our 3 best minutes from today's show presented by Von C.
Now, the Kincade and Salciunas Key 3. Today's best.
We do have a main topic today, and it's something that you pitched to me this morning, John, and it's spot on. And how tonight's game means more than just forcing a Game 5.
It's not just one game. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't just one game. This is everything. This is everything tonight. If there are members of this team that are on the roster right now that may be beloved to you, who I promise you will never see again in a Phillies uniform if they lose tonight.
It's a legitimate chance.
You'll never see them again.
You know that Turner and Harper are here forever. Right? They're here. They're not going anywhere.
There are guys who will never be here again if they lose tonight. Because if they lose tonight, it is a spectacular car crash.
Yeah. It's a failure.
It's an abject disaster failure. Yeah. And to me, you're going to see they're bringing in people with mops and tarps, and there's going to be an autopsy done on this organization like one you have not seen, because you will not get the BS, oh, it's okay, just roll it back. That's the referendum tonight.
Yeah.
I said it before the series. This is the referendum. Was rolling it back the right strategy? I didn't think it was. I believe they would win this series. We'll find out. You can win a playoff series and your bats can be relatively quiet.
Yeah.
Happens all the time. What doesn't happen all the time is guys who are top of their game all year absolutely pooping themselves.
I mean, to me, that's the biggest kick in the junk. I know people are going to get on Aaron Nola today. Right. People are going to get on Rob Thompson, which I get it. There was things that I did not like that Rob Thompson did yesterday. People are going to get on at-bats and approaches and all that kind of stuff. But, man, this bullpen, Orion Kerkering has allowed a run, even though he wasn't tagged for the run yesterday. It was given to Aaron Nola. Orion Kerkering has not pitched a clean inning in any of the postseason games. He's pitching all of them now. Jose Alvarado lights out the first 2 batters and then all of a sudden can't find the strike zone. Jose Ruiz, same thing with him. Estevez, all right, he had a clean inning. I didn't understand why he pitched yesterday.
I have no idea. If someone can explain the strategy of Rob Thompson and a pitching staff, Again, it makes no sense.
Schefter, good morning.
I think it's different. Robert Saleh had not gotten his team to a Super Bowl. Robert Saleh had not won consistently. I know the Eagles had the fall off the cliff last year. I got it. And at times they've been uneven this year. But I do think they're different situations.
If the Jets can do it, John, could the Eagles do it?
Sure they could. Lose to the Browns. Lose to the Browns, I think it happened.
I'll say this. Lose to the Browns, it better happen.
Lose to the Browns, I absolutely think it can happen. They will not lose to the Browns. They will tattoo the Browns.
Yeah,
but
we'll see about tattoo.
No, I think they will tattoo the Browns. I believe it 100%.
They better.
But hey, look, Robert Saleh cannot be compared in any way, shape, or form to Nick Sirianni.
Sirianni has so much more success.
Nick Sirianni has playoffs every single year. He has a trip to the Super Bowl. Robert Saleh hasn't delivered on any of it.
Correct.
Post-game Fox, post-game Baseball Network, post-game ESPN, every one of them within the first minute. Did Rob Thompson manage this game understanding he's got a season on the line, game 4 tomorrow? That is a bullpen game? Or did he think somewhere miraculously they were turning that one around yesterday?
I get that's hard.
You have to make a decision.
You have to. It's hard. It's hard waving a white flag in a playoff game.
They
but
didn't
at
have
that
enough
point,
bats.
You go,
They didn't have enough bats. They did not have enough bats.
John Boog Shambi. Boog, what's going on? Good morning.
I mean, we continue to see the randomness of this postseason. So if you're going to sit there and try and litigate, why isn't our good team playing good over the course of 3 games? I can't help you.
One of them actually articulated the words. It's over.
Yeah.
Is it really? It damn well might be. It might be. But I'm not going to sit here like, what do we got? We got 11 hours till game time?
Yeah, just like yesterday, less than 12 hours till game time at the start of the show.
I'm not going to sit here and be one of these fake little weenies that will be the first people to be like, Red October, baby, if they win today, and be like, Wheeler, Friday night, man, let's go, let's go. And on Thursday morning, walk around like a bunch of weenies. Oh, season's over. This sucks. I'm not doing it.
All right, that's the Kincade Salciunas Key 3. Now, not that I don't want to hear German John today. You guys, say hello to the people, German John.
What is your problem?
I have a Suarez quote that I want to read
All
to
right,
you.
get to it.
All right, so, of course,
Ranger Suarez.
Key 3 brought to you by Wannsee Brewing Company in Norristown. Check out the Berliner Weiss, the Fest Beer, and the Wannsee Toberfest Marzen. Visit WannseeBrewing.com. Find out where you can pick up your Key 3 from Wannsee today. Before you tell us about the AACR, hopefully this is a good way to end the show. Quote, and I want to credit John Clark for tweeting this out. What happens in September stays in September. It's time to turn the page. I just forget about it. We're in October now, so it's a different atmosphere, a different vibe. We're thinking about the now right now. I'm just not getting stuck on those bad starts. We are October vibes. I feel good physically, and that's what I'm thinking right now.
Perfect way to end it.
Thank you, Ranger.
We love you, Ranger. Bring home a victory. Hey, support life-saving cancer research. Join us and our generous partner, Window Nation, and make a donation to the American Association for Cancer Research. You can do it today at 975thefanatic.com/AACR because cancer research saves lives.
One day you'll do the Wannsee Toberfest in the John Kincade radio voice, and then you'll do the AACR in the.
It could happen
in German John.
Hey, just win, baby.
Just win. Doesn't matter how. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Midday show with Bill and Amy coming your way next. Hey, go Phils. Would love to talk about a win and celebrate a Game 5.